Good morning, everybody. Oh, I'm like a little too high. Hello. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome in. Congratulations, Anji on the first, Lissy on the second, Pinky on the third, Pixels on the fourth, Gloom on the fifth, and ads are starting. Let's go. I timed that perfectly. Um. So, hi on what? I'll be honest with you. Something weird is going on with the Pixel chat, but at the same time, I don't know what's going on with that. I was talking more about the chat, the PNG of the crab is a little too tall for the chat box. It was like overlapping. That's what I was saying. I was like, I'm a little too high, kind of situation. But I don't know what the captions were saying. Anyway, welcome on in, other people that were besides the top five. Mental, I saw you. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Good night. You know, it's midnight there. I totally expect if you're going to bed, please take care of yourself. Speaking of going to bed, hi Thangs. Don't know what time it is for you. That's a little crazy. And we got Pixels with the daily Scrandle redeem. Love it. Hi Rainbow. Hi other Rainbow. What's bed? Great question. You need me to show you it? Okay, so before we get in, there's been a lot of chatter going on in the Discord, a lot of fun. I want to show off. Can I open this and it'll show the right thing? Of course not. All right, hang on. I gotta find the page. This thing. Boom. This is Experience's lovely artwork that she put in the Discord of Lissy riding me. There is also XP's German redeem. Yes, I saw that too. I want to wait till ads are over so that people can hear that. But this is adorable. It's beautiful. I love it so much. There was a lot of just fun chatter. The Discord's always like is active and then it's not active and then it's active and then it's not. You know, it's a chat room essentially. And earlier, Experience was talking about doing like pool floaty scenario crab, and that translated into Lissy riding me, which translated into Lissy being on top of me like this. It got a little sidetracked along the way, but the artwork is there and it's beautiful, and we love it. So let me put that down here now, and then let's open up Scrandle. It happens. Yep. And then there we go. Yep. All right. Cool. All right. As I've ended, so let's do Experience's German time. I'm gonna open the book to a random page. Hopefully, it's a good phrase for you, Experience. This is under services, hair and body specifically. Okay. So, again, services, hair, and body. Rasieren Sie alles ab. Again, that's Rasieren Sie alles ab. Exactly as Angie put it in the chat right there. That is exactly how it is read text-wise. I'm hoping I could read that easy. Perfect. Braless and Alice Exactly, Lissy. Raseren ze alles ab. It translates to shave it all off. Shave it all off. Give me that Brazilian. You're so close, Experience. I saw the notification. The answer is neither. I don't. Oh, for the yes, the notification. We'll get into that in a minute. I raised the cooldown for German speak time to 20 minutes because y'all were heathens with it on Sunday, in a good way, but also, you know, a little too redeemy heavy. We'll see how 20 minutes works. So there's that. We are terrible people. No, you are great people. It was a lot of fun and everything. It was just a lot of distracting. It was like, oh, I got redeemed. Time to take away from what I was currently playing or doing with y'all to do that instead, kind of thing. You have to wait 20 more minutes? No, no, no. Go to bed, Angie. All right, let's do the Scrandle while we're here. This is Pixels' redeem for the Scrandle, the daily Scrandle. This one only had 20 minutes left, so hopefully we get a good one. Our bonus round, we got the Tottenham's Hotspurs beef brisket roll with chips for $11. That looks delicious. Or the Union Berlin German spicy steak sandwich for $3. I mean, you get a lot of meat for the bun. I'll give you that, but this just looks really good. Nope, waiting. Hi, Sassy. Welcome on in. I'm actually going to be screenshotting the left one here because that looks delicious. And I'm going to be putting that one in the Discord for later. Boop. Anyway, that was the bonus round. Doesn't matter. Now we're going to do best of 10. Hopefully we can get a good combination and see we're starting off really strong here, voting for which one we think people would vote for more. We got the Rangers Football Club, the Scottish Kebab Pie for $3.90. Or the Sunderland English Hot Dog for $5. Not gonna lie, this just looks burnt as shit. I'm not sure if that's, like, the juices got burnt kind of thing. It looks like they threw this in a microwave. You're sheltering in a parking garage waiting for a storm. No, stay safe, Sassy, stay safe. The hot dog looks like a standard hot dog. I am not really, outside of the fact that it's not as long as the bun, I don't really have that much of an issue with this. I don't know if this is, I think I would trust the hot dog more than I would trust this. Because, again, it just looks so burnt. You get a lot of meat on the bun. So let's go hot dog. Ooh, bad start. That's fair, I guess. All right, we got the South Birmingham English hot filled bap of the week. Maple syrup and mustard roasted ham loin, sage and onion stuffing, tomato relish for $4.50. Something's really wrong in England. I mean, that's just a general statement, Avi. We learned that a bap is a sandwich. It's a roll, a hot-filled roll, a hot-filled bun of the week. Versus the Brentford Football Club English sharing box. 2 burgers, 2 pies, 2 chicken strips, some cheesy bites, some mozzarella sticks, 2 drinks, and a program for $20. That just... You get a lot of food for only $20. Sounds pretty dang good to me. The sandwich looks really good, though. Like, this looks like a decent sandwich. I don't know why they put the sticker on the pies. I'm not sure if that's to tell you what type of pie you're getting or what, but this is not the first Scrandle we've seen where the sticker looks like it was cooked on the pie kind of scenario. I do appreciate that it looks like they put gravy in its own little jugs. You go for the right one? Yeah, you just get so much food. Like, there's so much variety here. It looks good. Yeah, 73 to 42. Again, it was a good sandwich. It was also just the flavor of the week. Could be edible stickers. I would probably just peel it off anyway. We got the Charlotte Football Club USA Hawaiian loaded fries for $9. So these are fries somewhere under all this pork. Or the Newport City Football Club, the English hot dog and chips for $5.50. That is an onion with a hot dog under it. So the fries look decent. What the fuck is the right one? Why does it look so sad? For some reason, they decided to photograph the napkin instead of the food on the napkin. Raw onion too? Yeah, it does not look cooked. That looks like they just chopped up an onion and threw it on top. Not quite sauerkraut. Um, so I think I'm gonna go with the Hawaiian loaded fries. Probably has barbecue sauce. They're probably like some sort of like pineapple seasoning in here somewhere to make it Hawaiian. 58-24. The person on the right ain't kissing no one. All right, we got the West Bromwich Albion English turkey bacon stuffing bap with gravy, cranberry sauce, and pigs in a blanket for $6.50. Um, I'm assuming these are the pigs in a blanket here. These two little things. We learned the other day that pigs in a blanket over there is like a sausage wrapped in bacon. Little cranberries, gravy, turkey. I don't know where the bacon is. I'm hoping this is a slice of turkey, and this is a slice of turkey. I don't know where the stuffing would be, where the bacon would be, unless the bacon is like wrapping the turkey. Maybe, not sure. Anyway, the Annan Athletic Scottish Donner meat chip and cheese pie for $3. So this is a pie stuffed with meat, stuffed with fries. There's some cheese in there somewhere. Not sure where. Stuffing is in the middle. Bacon wraps the turkey. Oh, so it is bacon wrapping the turkey. I'd probably go with the left then. The left sounds like a better meal than whatever this is. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, this does look like the stuffing in the middle of this. Like they wrap the turkey around the stuffing. That makes sense. It doesn't make sense in terms of like a sandwich because like when you bite into the sandwich itself, you just get a mouthful of bacon, then you get a mouthful of turkey, then you get a mouthful of stuffing. You know, like that's not. I want a kind of like a middle mixture of everything. I don't want just like. And now I'm biting into stuffing in a bun. Why are the fries in the Donner? I don't know. Ask the Annan Athletics group. How big you are? I got a big mouth, as you can all clearly tell. I will stuff this thing whole. I don't really know. I feel like I'm gonna go with the left just because of presentation. This does not look like I understand they just cut the pie in half. It looks like, but this looks more appetizing than this does. Yeah, 41-25. All right, we got the Sunderland English hot dog for $5. Is this the same hot dog from before? This looks like the same hot dog. It doesn't even fit the full button. I'll stuff this thing whole. Thanks, Lissy. Versus the Nottingham Forest Football Club English Mars Duo for $2. This is just a candy bar. Okay, so we know that this gets like 8%. But do we think that this is going to be higher or lower than this? It's a candy bar. I bet people are going to be like, ooh, chocolate. Yeah, okay. 31-8. Yeah, I just feel like because it was 8, I was like, the other thing has to be higher. You do get 2 chocolate bars. You are so correct. We got the Whole City English loaded chips for $4. Looks like nice cheese whiz, melted cheese kind of thing going on here. Maybe some pork. Yeah, that does look like pork. And then the chips look pretty decent. This looks like a good fry. This looks like a good fry. Looks like it has some sort of seasoning on it. The Samet Prakan Football Club. I'm assuming this is Thailand. Spicy sausage on a stick for 10 cents. Okay, hear me out. If I get 2 sticks of sausages for 10 cents versus a thing of loaded fries for $4, I'm gonna just get a bunch of these, you know? I had a pencil in my hand, put it down to type, could not find it, put it down in my hair. Oh no, let's see. 3 sticks? Is this 3? There could be a third one here, yeah. It's kind of like blending in. Even more so, that's like a lot of food that you could get for the same price kind of thing. Although people could be turned off by the idea of a spicy sausage. But then again, people could also be turned off by the pork. But this is for also one of the few English foods that we've seen where the cheese actually looks properly cooked. You love a spicy sausage? Good to know, Lissy. Lissy, we're batting. You're batting against yourself here. Which way are we going? Which way are we going? Fries, sausage. Fries, sausage. Fries, sausage. I am leaning towards the sausage, personally. Is this enough for a horny jail or not? And you know, I don't gatekeep the horny jail. Ooh, it's 70 to 41. Oh man, I totally see why. All right, the Pumas, UNAM, Mexican Mechelada, beer with lime, hot sauce, and chili salt. Price for one is $4.20. Hey yo. Why is the sausage that cheap? Oh no. Javi, are you one of those people? Dang, everybody up in the 90s. Or the Bristol Rovers English jerk chicken with rice and salad for $10. Ooh, jerk chicken could be so good. Dang, it's been 20 minutes already. All right, Mental, I got you. All right, while you guys stare at these two foods and decide which one to go with, I'm going to open the page randomly. Okay. This is under shopping for you, Mental. When I was checking the timer. All right. Again, shopping is the category. Change the keyboard to German. Okay, hang on. I gotta read the pronunciation first. Okay. Akzeptieren Sie Kreditkarten. Akzeptieren Sie Kreditkarten. I feel like I can hear Ray's mouth move to try the words out. Yep, just how Angie wrote it. Angie, 10 for 10. Let's go. Do you take credit card? Pretty much. Do you accept credit card? I feel like that one was a bit easier with the word credit card. Pretty much in credit card. But, you know, Germans don't use cards. Learning the German lore here. Spooky, welcome on in. I'm going to go jerk chicken over the drink. Just because I feel like a lot of people just hate spicy in this game. Yep. Wow, I know my language. Wow, you know how to understand an American trying to pronounce German. That does give a lot of credence to the pronunciations in the book, I guess. All right. We got the Cheltenham Town English chili cheese roast potatoes for $4.50. Chili cheese roast potatoes. I don't see any potato. I thought this was mac and cheese, but I guess it's just melted cheese. We're gonna have to guess that there's a potato in there somewhere. Or the WrestleMania Vegas Tomahawk Steak for $105.65. Now, price-wise, that sounds crazy, but a tomahawk steak is pretty damn impressive. That's a lot of food. So, chili cheese feels more like a jacket than a roasty. I don't even get into the text down here. Yeah, Avi, WrestleMania, Avi, your Gur's here. um, Now comparing these two, I would absolutely go with a tomahawk steak compared to whatever I'm looking at here. Price wise, what though, I'm definitely gonna be buying this before I could buy this. It's me, it's EXP. And in Vegas. Crazy, right? I'm gonna go with the WrestleMania tomahawk steak just out of principle. Yep. Okay. Yep. That makes sense. All right. Charlotte Football Club USA Carolina pulled chicken nachos for $8.60. These do be nachos. I think this is a chip here. So we got a lot of chicken, jalapenos, barbecue sauce, melted cheese, like nacho cheese, I guess, the white cheese version. We're to Sparta, Prague, Czechoslovakia, I'm guessing. CZE. CZE, Czech, maybe. Bratwurst in a baguette with onion. I can see the brat a little bit down here. You can see... I'm guessing this is the onion. It's a little out of focus. There's a lot of mustard. I'm probably going to go with the chicken nachos. Not a big fan of loaded chips or nachos. Normally the ratio is stuff. Yeah, you have to get a good ratio. In this case, I could definitely tell the ratio is not there. That said, though, I don't know. Again, going picture-wise, presentation-wise, I can see what's in this picture. This one, I'm struggling to make out what I'm looking at. Yeah, 54 to 30. All right, last one. Can we get maybe 7 out of 10? We got the Paycor Stadium, Ohio, USA hot dog for $5.55. Do not let Dandy see that this is in Ohio. Or the Oakland Roots USA beet marinated chicken gyro with fries for $13.50. Gyros are delicious. I feel like this is probably going to be the winner in this scenario, just compared to a regular hot dog that looks like they... I mean, it's a hot dog, so like you can put whatever you want on it at a stadium, usually. They chose to go plain. Just tilt the bowl. Yes, right. All right. All right, 7 out of 10 ain't bad. I kind of regret this one, not gonna lie. I feel like the hot dog should... It's just... I can't believe we got the hot dog twice. Which one? What was the other one? Literally here and here in the same one. This one, I can see why this one would be the better of the two. This one, I could also see why. Yeah, okay. Overall, I understand it. All right. GG Pixels. Thank you for redeeming Scrandle for today. So, what we are doing today, this is Along the Edge. We played this last Tuesday as well. For those who don't know, this is a visual novel, choose-your-own-adventure style game where the game has multiple different endings depending on the choices you make throughout it. We finished the first run. I don't know what if I click continue, what that would do. Are you edging? We are edging again, Avi. We edged so much last week that we're going to edge again today. Will we ever get the sweet release? Who knows? We got a pretty good release last week, though. because of our achievements, we ended in the Eulogist of Progress path, where we were more globe and moon to get the ending where we were essentially in the we don't believe in magic, and we're going to defeat the Maltiers who are running this town and making everyone believe in the hocus pocusness of the town. It looks like there's going to be 4 major endings based on the achievements, and then we have like all these other little things that we can get along the way. We decided not to do any romance and got the like you are by yourself in solitude ending, which was just a natural playthrough. We weren't aiming for it, but comparing ourselves to dating Frank or Stan, we chose the not. So we are going by. We chose to go by ourselves. So this time around, we're going to go down one of those paths. Oh, this is Frank. I'm thinking we try to aim more towards the sun star route, where we believe more in the magic of everything. Because the globe was more of the sciencey base, and then the star was more of the mysticism. And then the moon was like, I wouldn't say cold versus the sun being warm, but the moon was definitely the like more shut out answering, being like, how dare you? I'm going to stand on my own. I don't need you around answers. And then the sun was more of the softer, like, I hope you're okay. Is there anything I could do to help you kind of answers? Standoffish, yeah, kind of. They just described it as moon versus sun, but like the more you answer things, the more it felt like, oh, that's the kind of like category that moon became. The rest of these, I don't know what any of these mean. If I click on it, it just brings me back to the main page, but if we could try to get some more of these, that might be fun too. So we'll see what happens. Do we go with Frank with mending the wound, or do we go with love at first sight with Stan? That is the big question. That was what I put in the notification. So we'll see which one people go with, I guess, how we feel. I'm going to preemptively lower the music of the game for you guys, because once I click into it, who knows what's going to happen. I'm also going to click this one just to see what happens. Do you want to start a new game on the current save slot? Yes. All right, again, this is an interactive graphic novel. We play as Daphne. There is a lot of dark moments that occur throughout this gameplay. Last time, fair content warning for everybody. If you were not here last time, we wound up on a path. I don't know if it's like set in stone pathing or if it was like because of the choices we made up to that point. But there was a whole story plot around having a miscarriage. So if that's something that you're worried about, if there's, potential like blood and death and gore with the witchcrafty stuff, if you are just not a fan of like romance plots, I guess, I don't know. Content warning, boom, done. All right, this is the 4 symbols I was talking about before. So we got the star versus the globe. We learned that the globe is the more like your science-y. Then we have the sun for the more like not naive, but good, versus the moon of the like standoffish and I don't believe in any of you and I don't trust anybody. And then it looks like, based on the achievements, whichever category we meet between globe and star and sun and moon, the like corner intersecting them is the one that we end up with. I might read through some of this just to make sure it's not new stuff. If we hit stuff that's a lot similar to the first round, we might like kind of breathe through it a little bit more. I also remembered I raised the closed captions and myself, I think, so I didn't overlap too much. There we go. So you're determined then? Yes. I think I need a fresh start. This inheritance is the perfect opportunity to finally turn the page. Tiny Ray! Alright. I know you convinced yourself of that, but are you sure you really know what you wish to achieve with this move? After all, you recently went through a major trauma, and there's still a lot of ground to cover. Okay, so I think this is that miscarriage plotline. I was wondering if it was like set in stone. It sounds like it might actually be the major trauma from the beginning. Between you and me, you know what I think of your decision, but I can't prevent you from leaving. Have you found a job there yet? Honorous, good morning. Ooh, an indulgent pudding. Let's go. Sounds like a nice dessert to have. Damn, I don't think I don't. When was the last time I had a pudding? Oh, rainbow. I'm trying to remember the last time I ate pudding. That scared me. That came out of left field. That's the team you live closest to. It knows. It knows honors. Substituting math teacher for the village. Maternity leave 6 months. Yeah, okay, this is the same text from before. Giving up on your PhD. I think last time I said no. Do I regret giving it up? I don't know. We'll say I don't know this time. Oh, that is the moon choice. Good to know. Why cooldown? Because of how often I would hear like that. I don't know. I guess if it turns out to be a mistake, I could always come back. There's no harm in giving it a shot. I see. One last thing. I know your relationship with Frank is quite tense. Is it? It is. You know, the breakup's still recent, and I always counted on his support. I don't like cooldown. Angie, I would be drowning if I didn't have a cooldown for hydrate. After so many years together, I need time. I suppose you're aware that you're about to break your all ties with him, probably for good. Are you sure you won't regret it later? Did you at least inform him of your plans? Arguments grew up around Philly, so he has all kinds of Philly gear, shirts, hats, all of it. Apparently, they're absolute poop this year, like left in the entire MLB. Oof. I need to change the baseball. The issue with the baseball one is that they're all individually made. Like each of the options that pop up. So I need to fix it so that the text is easier to read, but at the same time, that means I have to do it for like all 50 options. I was a little ambitious when I made it first. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Do we let Frank know where we are going? I feel like we already know by saying no, it's none of his business. He still shows up anyway. So I think we just say he knows and get the different plot line here. We don't have to necessarily end up with him, but I think it at least like makes that, it might make that plotline seem better in the future, potentially, where it's like he doesn't just show up randomly and it becomes like a weird stalker situation. It's like a no, we told him situation. Fucking Frank, I know. See, that gave us our son. Yes, I did. It wasn't easy, but he had the right to know. It must have been hard for you to tell him, but you did the right thing. Listen, Daphne, you got my number. Please don't be afraid to call me if you feel the need. I'm counting on you. Okay, I will. Then I suppose all I can do is wish you the best. When are you leaving? Tomorrow. Chapter 1. Brittany, welcome on in. August. I'm leaving tomorrow. I've inherited the family's house, my grandmother's. I didn't know her, and now I never will. My mother had cut all her ties with that side of the family, the only side since I never knew who my father was. Did we ever find out who the father was? I'm trying to remember. Now. Oh no. No, Mom was a hoe. That's right. Mom was like, I'm escaping this family, and then she slept around and had us, and she doesn't know who our father is. I remember that. That's what we call karma. Other PhD students asked me to the bar. I should also see Frank to say goodbye. Of course, I could also just go home. Yeah, I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I was just trying to remember if we knew who our father was, and the answer was no. Again, could have been just that plot line that we went down. Last time we went to the bar to speak with our co-work fellow PhD students, and they said, essentially, fuck off. German time. I'm watching you. Alright, for Lissy. German. Ooh, this one's under drinking. It's not a phrase. Let me see if I can figure out how to make it a phrase real quick. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna make this a phrase. Hopefully it comes out good. 10 out of 10 on the New Day Scrandle. Let's go, Pixels. Zelda practice. The tournament started today. Let's go, Honorus. Good luck with the Zelda. Alright, so drinking for Lissy in German. Again, I'm kind of making this up on the fly a little bit. Ich hätten gern Apfelschorlen. Ich hätten gern Apfelschorle. He wants to drink in German. Ich hätten gern Apfelschorle. Yeah, Menzel got it. Alright, hopefully that was a coherent sentence. But it translates to, I'd like fizzy apple drink. What fizzy apple drink translates to, I have no idea. Apple cider? Maybe? Like a alcoholic apple juice? Sparkling water? No, I'm way off then. Sparkling apple juice. That's interesting. I would think it'd be like an apple cider. Although I guess this is under drinks, not necessarily like alcoholic drinks. Because it's along the lines of like orange juice, apple juice, fizzy apple drink, grape juice, pineapple juice, lemonade. Yeah. Well, there you go. Do we go to Frank's flat? We want, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going to Frank's. We'll see what happens. Alright, I took one bus, then another. Then I walked, and my steps brought me back to the old apartment Frank and I used to share. I hesitated a few seconds before pressing the buzzer. No answer. I don't know whether to feel relieved or disappointed. I try again, to no avail. I may as well go home and finish packing then. It's too late to go to the bar. Alright, so we wind up going home anyway, no matter what. It didn't matter. That's it. Everything I own in a couple of boxes. I feel sad about leaving, but actually I don't really care. My last night here. Fresh start. Trying to convince myself. Perhaps Dr. Durant, the Pokemon, is right. Maybe I'm just avoiding the real issue. Some mint-looking spicy samosas. About 20% lower than the show. Ooh, spicy samosa. Time for 8 minutes. Angie, go to bed. Am I following in her footsteps to cite myself? The difference is that she had me. Me, I'm alone. I'm overthinking this. We read all this already. I'm gonna just kind of skip through it a little bit. 300 miles. I got up way too early. Me, every morning when I have to go to work. I got up way too early. Little by little. The highway is replaced by interlacing roads, and we go into the countryside. Lasagna eaten with a credit card and potatoes free from the gravestone of King Frederick II were some of the high... What? What? That's all I gotta say. After a couple miles, I returned to a dark dirt track overrun with weeds. Go through the gates. Must be a lodge with the wardens. A couple live. It's specified in the estate's account. The notary made me sign. Decided to leave the car there. Oh, and then we meet our boy. Walking a bit further, I see a man coming towards me, carrying a rifle, holding a dead rabbit by the ears. Let's go, Mr. Bortine. Our boy, not afraid to shoot at the bad guy. Alright. Hello, miss. You're on a private property. Did you take a wrong turn? As for directions, I don't remember what we did last time. I think we apologized last time. Oh. Okay. Hello, I'm looking for the Delator family domain. Am I in the right place? Oh, you're not lost then. Why are you here? I'm Daphne, Adelaide's granddaughter. Gerard Bortine. I'm the warden. Nobody told me you were coming. Is the house open? No. Well, yes. It's been a couple months since she passed away. My wife, Gilberte. I can't tell. Are they supposed to be French? Italian? I don't know anymore. Bortine doesn't sound like a... Like, he might be French and she might be Italian. I don't know. Gilberte sounds Italian to me. Or maybe I'm just pronouncing it that way. We lean into the mysticism. Why? Why do they avoid the house? People get worked up over nothing around here. An old lady living alone in the big house who doesn't go out much. That's enough to make them talk. Thank you. I'll be in the house if you're looking for me. I'll send my wife, Gilberte. She'll help you open the shutters. Alright, have a good one. Alright. We head into the house. Family upon family have lived here. We learned that this means the windows are shuttered shut. They're not boarded shut. The place is gloomy. Yet there's no cats. Miss? An old woman standing at the threshold. Yes? My husband told me you were coming to the house. Are you planning to stay for the night? Much more than the night. I'm moving in. Oh, and please call me Daphne. I'll get more than enough miss when I start working at the school. Did they tell you about my succession? Oh, you're Madam Granddaughter then. She used to talk about you a lot, you know? I forget what accent I gave everybody. I'm sorry. I don't know what accent I'm giving them now. Alright, we open the windows. Inheritance barely left me enough to cover the cost of the house. Don't worry, Gerard and I retired 2 years ago, but Madame didn't forget us in her will. She's kind enough to leave us the lodge to live out the rest of our days. We'll be happy for help as long as we're able, my husband and I. You really will. I can't ask you to work for free. I can't ask you to work for free. It's not a job as such, just a way to keep us busy, and we'll like to do it, miss. Would you like me to get you some groceries from the market tomorrow? I used to do it for Madam, but she didn't go out much, not after Miss Sophie left. No, don't worry, I'll go. It'll give me a chance to check the village out. Alright, she helps me put clean sheets on the bedding, and I spend my first night in the house, where I watch the TV, eating my loaf of bread, instead of, going directly out to try to buy groceries or something. Try to sleep far from the reassuring sounds of the cars and lights of the city, the forest silence only broken by the unsettling squeak of floorboards and the hoot of a hunting owl. I'm predictably grouchy in the next morning, and if the sight of an empty fridge hadn't driven me to action, I would have succumbed to the inviting comfort of the sofa and wasted my day napping in the living room. The market. All romantic notions of picturesque little country markets. This one is purely functional. Nothing romantic about the butcher's stall nor the fishmonger's radio, tuned in far too loud to a local station that seems to broadcast at this hour of the day a playlist of songs that used to be popular but are now utterly outdated. The 90s. I'm buying some bread when someone barges in front. Ooh, okay, now we're meeting Stan. The other love interest besides Frank. Budging between us and the bakery door, we shunned him away immediately initially, being like, how dare you? Give me 3 baguettes, 2 loaves of nut bread, and sliced, please. I don't remember what I did for him. Gave him like a boony voice, I remember that much. I'm sorry, but I believe it was my turn. It'll only take an instant, don't worry. Alright, so we got worked up last time, we'll keep calm this time. I don't care if it takes an instant or 10 minutes. If you... You're not from around here, are you? What does that have to do with anything? Listen, miss, you really ought to educate yourself before you start making a scene. It's kind of embarrassing. See? I'm done already. It didn't take that long, did it? Have a nice day. Man slips a bill in the baker's hand before disappearing down the street. Seriously, who was that guy? Oh, that guy. He was just Stan. Don't worry about him. He's a Maltiere's son. Family owns the sawmill and employs half the town. The other half are all businesses with them, one way or another. Does that give him the right to behave like that? You shouldn't cross the Maltieres, you know. They've been in town for generations, and we all say sorts of things about them. What kind of things? Strange accidents, businesses suddenly going bankrupt. People are pretty superstitious around here because one family owns everything. Really? Ooh, we got their first star. Well, this is the countryside. I suppose a lot of people here still believe in that kind of stuff. People are free to think what they like. I'm leaving the area soon, so that you'll understand I don't want to get involved. The others told me to watch out for that family, and I don't want any trouble. I see. I have realized I've already been here a few days, and hadn't taken the time to visit the house properly yet. With my busy schedule, I'm confined myself to the main rooms, going from the bedroom to the kitchen to the living room. I ought to take advantage of the weekend to give myself the grand tour. Maybe I'll learn more about my grandmother and this family that I know so little about. I could try asking Mrs. Bortine a few questions, too. Up till now, she's been very evasive. If I go see her outside her work hours, she might be more inclined to answer me. She's a very discreet woman. Somehow she manages to never be in the same room as me. If I leave the kitchen, suddenly everything's fixed. If I go to bed, suddenly bed sheets are made. Yep, okay. Alright, last time we checked out the tower first, I think. So let's check the mother's bedroom first. My grandmother lived alone in this pig house, so she kept most of the rooms shut and stayed on the ground floor. Okay, I think this is the same text from before. Everything's frozen in time, furniture covered in white linen sheets. Bedroom hasn't changed. There's still the band poster. Again, I don't know who this is. This looks like it's a real poster. I'm sure it's somebody somewhere. The crib where I might have spent my first few nights before my mother decided to leave. Aren't any white linen sheets to protect the furniture in this room. It looks as though it's been cleaned up very recently. To the tower. Couldn't find the entrance. I wonder if we could find a way to enter now before... Because we know how to get in. Somebody, somewhere, all at once. I gotta ask about the mystery. There's no entrance to the tower that's able to be seen. We're gonna go into the basement. Oh. This is where we get the first option. That really can change things, I think. When I was old enough to ask her, she always told me with a dismissive wave of her hand that my father was from the village and hadn't wanted to recognize a child he hadn't asked for. All in all, she said we were better off without him. Maybe I could bring a bottle to Mrs. Bortine. Last time we took a bottle and got her drunk, and she started to, spill a couple secrets to us. Do we not take a bottle this time? See what happens? No, it's a bad idea. And getting drunk like that in the middle of the day, it's not like me at all. We got the sun. What should I do next? Mrs. Bortine. Good morning, Mrs. Bortine. How are you doing? Oh, hello, Miss Daphne. My joints ache a bit today. It must be the colder weather. Summer always goes so fast. It's almost fall already. Can you believe it? But that's enough about me. You haven't come around here to listen to an old lady complaining about her aches and pains. And yet I put you to work. Make my bed. Fill the kitchen. Cook the food. How can I help you? I want to know more about the olden days. Before my mom left. Interesting working methods of a spy. The end was already in sight when your mother left. There's only your grandmother, Madame Adelaide, and Miss Sophie living here. Grandfather died when mother was still a little girl. Illness took him without warning. Okay. But back when I arrived here, things were different. There were a lot of people living in the castle. Cousins, uncle, aunts, whole gaggle of children. Just making people drunk. No, we're not making people drunk. We chose the no drinking option in this route. I want to see what changes. I don't really know what it just happened. There were unexplained deaths. Accidents. Some of them left the area and we never heard from them again. Everything started to go downhill when the Maltaires bought the sawmill. Ooh. What's the connection, or there must be a connection? This round. In my defense, the first playthrough, it was just, do you want to take a bottle, yes or no? And I said yes. And Daphne was like, I can use this to get Mrs. Bortine drunk and make her spill secrets. And my brain was like, oh, I just wanted to drink. I wasn't even thinking about getting her drunk. Okay. Everything started to go downhill when the Maltaires bought the sawmill. I feel like there must be a connection versus what's the connection. What's is more like, I don't understand what you're talking about, and then what there it must be is like, oh, you're saying the Maltaires are responsible. Ray is a spy. Uh-huh. I mean, what? I mean, huh? I mean, what? Um, what do we think is gonna get us sun slash star? Because that's what we're kind of aiming for right now. He tries to hide it, but we know. I'm not trying to hide nothing. I'm just a crab. Preemptively hydrating for that one. Um, what's the connection might be more superstitious? Or, no, there must be a connection is probably more superstitious, right? I'm gonna try there must be a connection. Yeah, we got the superstitious answer. It seems crazy, but there must be a connection, don't you think? It can't be a coincidence, can it? I couldn't say, miss. All I know is that when the Maltaires flourish, the Delators wither. I met Maltaire's son at the bakery. That lout? None of my business. Of course. I read the word lout and so I was like, that's none of my business. Of course, but you should be careful of him. He's a good for nothing who spends his time doing good knows what in his car. Ooh, oh, buddy. Is he also edging? Um, he's a good for nothing. I don't judge people. I'm above that. Yeah. I'm sure he's not that bad. It can't be easy having a family like his. Now, while we're talking about the past, maybe you'd like to see the old photo albums. Absolutely. Tell me where they are and I'll take a look at them, thanks. They're in the cupboard in the living room, you see. There are even some of your great-grandfather's old photos. Something else? Can I ask you about my mother's bedroom? I visited the house, gone into every room, and I noticed all the furniture has been covered in white linen sheets. Yes, it was Madame, your grandmother, who asked me to close most of the rooms. She lived alone in the house, and she never had any visitors, but she had a chat like Angie, redeeming German time. It was to prevent the furniture from being damaged. Can I find a phrase about furniture, maybe? What page am I turning to? Well, this is not a page about furniture. It is titled Sleeping. It's about making reservations. That kind of sleeping. This is a multi-page phrase. Hang on. Okay. Haben Sie in Zimmer für ein Nacht? Yeah, a lot of fire with this one. Sorry. Haben Sie in Zimmer für sorry, in Zimmer für ein Nacht? Für. Do you have a room for one night? Yes, exactly. Haben Sie. I feel like I've gotten Haben Sie down pretty well. We've done that a lot. For do you have? Haben Sie in Zimmer für is a room for, and then one night is ein Nacht. Cool. All right. We goody? We Gucci? I already closed the page. Ein? Ein? Like ein? For ein? Ein. Suddenly I can't read. I'm so sorry. Anyway, back to the visual novel. Why are you asking? You want me to open up the rest of the house? No, that's not why I was asking. One of the rooms. I'm guessing it was my mother's old bedroom. Why wasn't it closed like the others? It was what Madame wanted. You know, when Miss Sophie left, it broke her heart. She was never the same afterwards. Until the day she died, she never gave up hope that your mother would come back. She asked me to make up her room every day, just in case, she said. Something else? Will you talk to me about the tower if you're not drunk? Couldn't find the entrance to the tower. Do you know how to get inside? Well, I couldn't say, miss. No, I couldn't tell you how to get in. My life depended on it. You're off to bed. Have a good night, Anji. Take care. Hopefully we're not still streaming when you wake up. I think we did that last time. Do you mean that no one's been inside the tower for what, 30 years? 40? Good nacht, Darful. Good nacht. Goodness me. Much more than that. I'm 67. You don't look a day younger than 30. So nobody knows what's in the tower? But surely you must have some idea, don't you? You must have heard talk in the village, right? Well, it's just gossip. A waste of breath is what it is. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Please don't press me, miss. With all due respect, I won't dirty your late grandmother's Ooh, okay, so she won't open her mouth because we didn't get her drunk. Something else? Goodbye. Sorry, didn't mean to disturb you. I'll come back later. So we don't learn the secrets of the tower because we didn't get her drunk. Good to know. Found the photo where Miss Bertine told me they'd be. Great-grandfather. These are the photos that we found last time, too, after we got her drunk. So that stayed the same. Couple pictures. Final picture showed her belly getting rounder. Then nothing. No more photos. Conversation admit what's going on in the village is far more intriguing than I anticipated. Your alleys of everyday life catch up with me before I have the time to look into it. I'm obliged to spend the last days of August preparing for my classes at the middle school. Spend most of my time shut up in the house, buried in textbooks for all the new classes I've been given. First day of school arrived. Despite a few difficulties with a couple of weeks, I began to get my bearings at the school. Life fell into routine. Chapter 2. September. Take advantage of the week to go to the market. I'm sure somebody will finally agree to tell me more of the tidbits. Especially about the Maltaire family, who seem to be fascinate half the village and terrify the other half. Starting with the baker. Her season's ending, but she's taking off. Alright, so that stays the same. Oh, that's right. Mr. Bortine is talking to somebody right now. We can go over, have him introduce us. We did not do that last time. Last time we talked to the baker. I think we talked to Mr. Bortine this time. Oh, why are the two of you? Whoa, timeout. What is happening here? This is a conversation that's happening, huh? Eves, see, you've reopened the house. Is someone living up there? Look, Mr. Maltaire, with all due respect, that's none of my business. Beach, my love. Leave, my love. Good morning. Hello, Mr. Bortine. How are you doing? Oh, hello, miss. What a nice surprise. Let me introduce you to our mayor, Yves Maltaire. Ooh, do I introduce myself? Do I stay quiet? Are we siding with the Maltaires this time? Is my question. We want to go the more mysticism route, and the Maltaires are definitely leaning towards mysticism, I think. The last time we leaned in the sciencey route, not believing the magic, we wound up getting him essentially killed. he wound up hanging himself in the end. I think he hung himself. He died. I remember he died. We had a scene where they were like, "I need to talk to you," and I was just like, "Fuck off." And then next thing we knew, they were like, "And now he's dead in his office." So maybe we'd be nice to him. We're gonna introduce ourselves. Oh yeah, we got the niceness, the sunniness. Hello, Mr. Malter. Pleased to meet you. I'm Daphne Delator. Daphne Delator. So you must be Sophie's daughter? I didn't know she had any children. Oh, that's not surprising. Mom left the village right after I was born. After thinking it over, Yves Malter looked me over from head to toe, distrust and disdain in his eyes. I admit, it makes me quite uncomfortable. Right after you were born, you say? That's strange. I thought that... Well, anyway, never mind. I'm rambling, sorry. Are you passing through? I imagine you must be eager to get rid of that unheatable old ruin. No, not at all. I'm staying at least for the next 6 months. I'm working as a substitute at the middle school. Oh, well, well. So how do you like our little village? It's not exactly Paris, or London, or New York, but we do our best to make people welcome. If you need anything, you know where to find me. He nudges me jovially with his elbow. It's got Town Hall written over the door. Good night, goodbye, young lady. Gerard, always good to see you. So that's the famous Mr. Malter. Yes, it is, and you should be careful of him. Everyone seems to be scared of him. Why? They have a reputation, and it's them who call the shots around here. Not only does half the town work in their sawmill, but Mr. Malter is the mayor, too. It's been like that for generations, and I have to tell you, there's always been bad blood between the Malters and the Delators. That's not my problem. Things are going to change. This seems very more like, that's not my issue. I'm gonna change things. Oh! Oh, I thought that not my issue would have been that one, but okay. Perhaps. But now that I'm here, things are going to change. I can promise you. I'm not going to let them walk all over me. You'd be better off not adding fuel to the flames. If the Malters decide that you're a threat, they'll do everything in their power to make you leave. It's absurd. They're hiding something. It's absurd. They're hiding something. They're hiding? It's absurd. It's absurd. They're hiding something. They're hiding something. I'm sure there's something shady going on ever since I arrived. It's weird. The castle, that family. You should keep your head down and stay out of it if you want my advice. Nothing good will come if getting involved. Well, I still have things to do. Perhaps I'll see you later, Mr. Bortine. He gives me a small nod and heads to his car. Of course, when I reach the bakery, it's already closed for the weekend. Too bad. I go around the shop trying to find out about the Malters as I buy fresh contents from my refrigerator. Unfortunately, now that I've been identified as the young heiress, their tongues are tied, the villagers have become surly, polite, yet distant. And then it starts raining. And then it continues to rain. And then I begin teaching. And then I continue to teach. And I continue to teach. And then I get called into the principal's office. I discover Mr. Chastanet, the principal, in a heated debate with someone who I guess is an irate mother of one of my pupils. It's time to get a woman killed. The poor man is ashen. He cowers behind his desk, and he's so hunched over in his big leather chair as if he's melting into his upholstery. Please, Mrs. Levercue, you must admit that your demands are most unusual, to say the least. We got nothing but praise for Miss Delatore's professionalism and her devotion to the teaching of mathematics. Ah, here she comes. Mr. Chestnut fixes me with an imploring gaze, as if I was his only hope of salvation. Did you want to see me? Yes, please, take a seat. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Leveque, Jean-Baptiste's mother, you know, one of our 6th grade students. Speak with Mrs. Leveque. Oh. Okay, went straight to her, I guess. Hello, Mrs. Leveque. It's nice to meet you. I'm Daphne Delator, Mrs. Dupuy. Substitute. I don't remember ever reading that name. I'm really very satisfied with your son's work. He's an excellent student. Are you kidding me? You must realize I'm not here to talk about my son's math skills. Look, Mr. Chestnut, I'm not going to exchange words with this. Anyways, we had an agreement, you and I hope you'll keep your word. Jean-Baptiste's mother glares at me coldly. I hear the director mutter in his beard that he doesn't have. But we haven't agreed to anything. I don't know what to make of the situation. After a few seconds that feel like hours, I give up and say, what exactly is the problem? I'm sure we can find a solution. I'm not sure that's how you tell this. Mrs. Leveque wishes to remove his son from your classroom. Did I do something wrong? I don't understand. Everyone seems quite happy with my work. Why would you want to remove your son from my class? This has nothing to do with your teaching. Mrs. Leveque, be reasonable. You can't ask us to change the classes just like that, for no good reason. For no good reason? Ha! That's it. You're falling under the Delator spell, too. That family of pagans! You arrive in town, and just like that, you think you could get away with anything. But me, I can see what you're up to, and I won't be fooled like the others. Do you want me to say it? What you are? A witch! Okay, so last time, I chose it'd be unwise to make me angry answer. Calm down, I don't mean you any harm, sounds pretty soft-spoken to me. Ooh, okay, we got the stuff, or with that one. Please, madam, calm down. I assure you that I don't mean any harm to yourself or your son. It's not my fault that my family has a reputation in the area. I would happily continue to explain myself, but Mr. Chestnut interrupts to cut short the discussion. You see, I was sure that we would discuss it rationally. We could come to a consensus. I trust you're reassured, Mrs. Leveque. And Miss Delator, I hope I can rely on you to take care of our dear Jean-Baptiste's progress. Of course, sir. I'll pay special attention. What? Oh, you're in it together. That is no other explanation. You, Delator, you won't get away with this. You haven't heard the last of me. Without warning, she leaves the room, slamming the door behind her. That's an awkward silence, which is quickly broken. That's the third time she's burst into my office for this nonsense. I believe I owe you one, Daphne. You've really got a nerve. It's my job. You're welcome, Mr. Chestnut. Soothing parents' irrational fears is also part of the job description. It's not. But, you know, I don't know what the job description is in France. When I finally get out of school, it's almost dark. It annoyed me. Seriously, how can that woman smear my family name like that? None of the Delators have a bit of a reputation in the area, but to call me a witch to my face. In my workplace. Even if I did have magical powers, how could she think I could harm her child? It's appalling. I lit a cigarette, and I'm sitting by the window, brooding over these thoughts. Oh, when a car visits my house. Who could have visited me this late? I recognize the gray, grubby van, the ladder on the roof, the hastily patched up right-wing mirror. How is it possible? What is he doing here? I run down the stairs. I open the front door. And it's my boy, Frank. There he is, my ex-lover, at the door, drenched by the relentless rain. My heart sinks at the thought of him seeing him, talking to him once again, just when I resigned myself to the fact that he was a remnant of the past. First happy, then not so much. Daphne, how long do you plan to make me wait in the rain? We need to talk. But, what are you doing here? Frank stands in the hallway watching me, worried. Are you alright? I mean, like, generally? Okay. I think we'd be nice to Frank. Hear me out. Last time we just kept pushing him away, and he was very, still tried to be in our lives even though we were pushing him away. If we open up a little bit and just be nice, not accepting of him, but just nice, maybe we'll see something different. I think we're going to go the Stan route this time, but we want to see what happens with Frank anyway. I'm glad to see you. I feel better now you're here. I know you. You're trying to sweet talk me and you're avoiding the question. You can tell me anything you know. Let's start over. How are you doing? Okay, he saw right through me. I'm sweet talking to you. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's a big change, but it's what I needed. I think I made the right move coming here. I'm glad to hear it, even if I'm not convinced. Anyway, this isn't a courtesy call. I received some mail you might not be happy about. Did you say mail? Yes, a letter from your mother. I know your relationship's difficult, so I figured it's probably important. And then I had to track you down, which wasn't exactly child's play. It would have been easier if you'd left me your new address. Since I'm between jobs, I thought I'd take a few days off. Frank smiled at me, looking amused, then pretending to check out the rooms he at. So Frank still didn't get told where we live, even though we said we were making this decision to him. We didn't tell him where we were going. That's interesting. Funny, I've been dreaming of a weekend and a bed and breakfast, or should I say, a castle and breakfast. Stop making fun of me. You know Lady of the Manor really isn't my style. No, I think it suits you perfectly. Do you mind if I call you Lady Delator from now on? Quit talking crap. What? You don't like Lady Delator? What about Lady Daphne? Or Your Grace? Your Grace sounds perfect, don't you think? Frank is wandering around the hall, inspecting the furniture and ornaments. If there's one thing he's particularly good at, it's the way he can diffuse tense situations. You mind if we talk about it tomorrow? I gotta say, I'm shattered. As he speaks, he pulls a letter from his inside pocket and places it on the chest of drawers in the hall. Your mother's letter. I know it's not easy for you, but if you need to talk about it, I'm right here. Thank you. Well, if it's okay with you, I'm going to crash on your sofa for a few hours. Do we sleep with him? Do we offer to sleep with him? I think the question is, do we offer? Because offering's going to be a different category than actually doing, right? So, like, last time we told him to go into a guest room. I think we offer the bed. I've got a big bed, you know. Are you sure you don't want to sleep on... You want to sleep on the sofa? I've got a big bed, you know. Do you think that's a good idea? I mean, if you insist, I wouldn't be able to resist for long. But you know it won't necessarily fix anything, right? If that's what you want, of course. Oh! What options? No more talk. Straight to the bedroom. We have to start somewhere. Or, you're right. Fuck it, we a hoe. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Hush, no questions. At least, not tonight. It's been a long time, man. He takes me by the waist, pulls me close and kisses me. It's both strange and reassuring at the same time. I'm engulfed by a wave of conflicting emotions and a nagging sensation of crossing an invisible line. Allowing myself to be tempted by the familiarity of his arms, strong but tender. I don't know where this is leading us, probably nowhere, but I need him. I need to pretend for a couple of hours, as if nothing bad had ever happened, as if we were still a family. I take his hand and guide him to my bedroom. He's in the bed now! I wake up early the next morning. On the other side of the bed, Frank is sleeping like the dead, as usual. I know that, short of me banging a drum or blowing into a foghorn next to his ear, he wouldn't wrinkle out of his arms of Morpheus for another couple of hours. I take advantage of this to snuggle a few minutes longer under the quilt. I sit up in bed and light a cigarette. I don't know what's going through my head last night. Throwing myself into his arms like that, not 5 minutes after he walked through the door. Can I still save the wreck of our relationship? We had a good thing going. Maybe we shouldn't have let it fall apart so easily. Maybe we should have tried harder. What a waste. We met almost 10 years... Okay, now we're going back to the backstory. Like the different lifestyles, he was a carpenter, and I was a freshman in college, blah 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 blah. We met up, call it fate, magic worked. Same old story. A few years later, we moved in, paying 2 rents instead of 1, 2 years ago. Step further, if we wanted to have a baby. Alright, we're going back into the plot point. If you need a content warning. I loved him more than anything. Sooner or later, I wanted to start a family with him. Why wait? We were happy. And then, late in the pregnancy, a few weeks before the due date, I lost the child. They made me keep the lifeless thing in the belly for days until the doctors decided to induce labor. They didn't understand what had gone wrong. Frank stayed with me every step of the way. He held my hands as I expelled death from my womb. The doctor refused to let me see the baby, objecting that I was too fragile to handle it, but I saw Frank's eyes when they pulled the motionless, silent corpse out of me. I clung to him as much as I could, but there was a chasm in my chest. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I knew something was irrevocably broken. Frank decided to incinerate the body and scatter the ashes. Burying the body meant naming it, making it in a way exist, and that was much more than we could bear. In any case, I was incapable of making any decisions. When the first shock wave and the tsunami it crashed in our lives finally receded, I realized our relationship was doomed. We did all we could to overcome the misery, but sooner or later we had to face the facts. We broke up without a fight. We agreed we couldn't go on like that. Frank kept the old apartment, and I took a furnished flat in the meantime. Then a couple of months later, the notary told me my grandmother had just passed away. She had bequeathed everything to me. I take a quick shower, then go downstairs. A noise from the coffee machine tells me that Frank's found his way to the kitchen, which is interesting because I guess he got up while we were showering. Mom's letter is still propped in the chest. What should I start with? Last time we went straight to the kitchen. I think we read the letter first this time. Dog-eared and yellow. Stamp is foreign. She's in Asia still. Okay, so this is the same letter. Frank never met Mom. Somehow he figured out the letter, though. Blah, 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 blah. Daphne, don't accept the inheritance. Don't go back. You're only putting yourself in danger. Regards, Sophie. Closing says, lack of tenderness. Yep. Alright, now we go to speak to Frank. Frank must have heard me coming down the stairs as he watched me enter the room, his face serious. Well, well, well. Do we want to talk about last night? It was a mistake. Oh. I thought that would be the sun option, but okay. Well, let's just say it was a moment of weakness. I shouldn't have done that to you. Alright, I get it. At least that's clear. To my astonishment, his face relaxes all at once. He grins at me and changes the subject. So seriously, what have you been doing here all this time? Tell him about my life and everything. Yep. I tell him about my mom's letter. I'm not sure what to make of it. Right, well, I gotta say, your stories are very exciting, but also kind of worrying. Here's what I suggest. Frank, ew! Rainbow, you just missed it. We slept with him. And then we told him it was a mistake. We're playing the field. Whatever happens, I'm gonna stick around for a while. Don't have any contracts in the near future. With that, I'll find some work around here. Yep, okay. Does it bother you? You can stay a few days. That's fine. Did you think I'd throw you out? Of course you can stay for a few days. Until you get your bearings. Thank God I missed that. I would have thrown up. Thanks. It's kind of you not to take me home, make me homeless. Don't thank me. It's the least I can do. So how do we do this? I don't want to get under your feet. There's no reason we'll be in each other's way. The house is plenty big enough for both of us. Ayo, Pookie. Good morning. I was just thinking, it better tell the wardens that you're here before I leave. I don't want Mr. Bortine to shoot you like a rabbit if he sees you hanging around the house. That's very reassuring. Don't be silly. They're very nice. You'll see. I've really got to get going. Enjoy your day. You too. I try to put my thoughts in order as I drive to school. It's quite a lot to adjust. Ingest, digest. All those words. 6-7. Days fly by, fast as an arrow. Keep my eye on my work. When I get back to the castle, there's light and movement. Even if it's only temporary, I'm glad not to be alone for a while. It makes a nice change from my last few days of solitude. This is a new scene, I think. A fire crackles in the hearth, and delicious smells drift out of the kitchen. It's almost too perfect, and I had a hard time not taking advantage of Frank's kindness. He seems determined to see to my every need. Still, he manages to keep out of my way. We eat our meals together, but otherwise we get on with our own business in different parts of the house. See? Compromise. We slept with him, and then told him that was a mistake, but you can still stay here. We're not pushing him out fully and him just randomly showing up again to drive the plot forward. In a creepy way. As promised, about 10 days later, he tells me he found a small furnished flat in the village, and he's moving in the next day. I'm sad to see him go, but I tell myself it's for the best. Days, then weeks go by, and I slip back into my routine, and I think, yep, okay, we're in the dream now. Okay. Boldly going where no woman has ever gone before, out into the forest with a weird creature chasing us. I feel a presence behind me. Something deeply evil, ominous, almost sickening. I begin to run. The house disappeared completely. I find myself in some kind of meadow. Alright, we saw a version of ourselves in the water last time that we did not become. As I get closer, I discover an oval pool filled with a silvery liquid. Image reflects on the surface as me, but not me at the same time. Which me do I mean? Me. Okay. I think this is the same one we had last time? No. We were wearing a black dress last time. So, that does change. I'm barefoot. There's something different about my bearing, the way I carry myself. My hair's longer. It reaches the middle of my back. Most strange of all, it's pure white. Even I look into my reflection, I seem so calm, so at peace. I reach towards the mirror's surface, my fingers stretched out. The reflection starts to tremble as if it was resonating. So we found out at the end of the last round, we turned into the version of us that we saw in the reflection the second time that we saw it. So this is kind of like the midway-ish point, letting us know what our decisions are leaning us towards, I guess. Maybe. Fingers touch the cold, strangely clammy surface. It shatters to 1,000 pieces. A few moments, the darkness is absolute. I'm in some kind of garden. A heavy fog surrounds me, moving towards a reddish light that pulls me towards it like a lighthouse in a muffled, turbid storm. I can make out a statue, a sort of human-sized sphinx carved in granite. Something majestic yet profoundly sad in a hunched-up, impassive attitude of the creature. When I'm close enough to distinguish it, I realize the creature wears my face. I see my countenance reflected in hers like a mirror. Then her eyes come alive, and the imploring, helpless look seems to beg for mercy. I think last time it was crying blood. So I'm going to take that as a sign that we're doing good. I'm frozen in contemplation, my heart overflowing with the sadness and awe, when once again I feel the sickening presence like a warmth bread at the back of my neck. I turn, struggling against the terror which invades me, and suddenly I'm falling endlessly. Darkness buries me. I wake up with a jolt. Chapter 3. October. I'm barefoot in the grass. Before me, the black mass of the forest seems to invite me in. I feel a hand on my arm. Miss? I heard a noise, so I came to check. Miss Bortine, standing next to me, looking concerned. What am I doing here? What happened? A bad dream, miss. Just a dream. Come on, let's get you back to bed. It's the forest, right? The Sphinx, calling me. Miss Bortine guides me back to the bedroom. I fall into a dreamless sleep. When I wake up, the sun is up in the sky. I'm surprised to see Mrs. Bortine still here. Hot blonde art, but we're wearing white, so you know we're morally good in the eyes of men. Rage. Mrs. Bortine? Oh, hello, Miss Daphne. I'm sorry, I must have dropped off. Dropped off? But what are you doing here? Oh, you don't remember? You gave us quite a surprise. Okay, so this is the same sequence from before. The moon? The moon? The moon? I don't see the connection. Yes, the moon. Yes, the moon. Yes, you must be right. The moon. Ah, well, the full moon always brings up something with it. You have to beware of full moon dreams. I had a strange dream last night. Actually, I was in the forest, and there was a mirror and a sphinx. A sphinx, you say? Did you know that part of your family's coat of arms? Well, maybe you saw it there. Well, perhaps the coat of arms? Yes, that's right, the blazon on the delators. You should take a look. It's carved into the tower wall. We're gonna go outside and look at it in a minute, probably. You told me I'll go back to the lodge. Gerard must be waiting for me to fix his lunch. Alright. She goes off, leaving me alone. I'm gonna call the doctor. Dr. Durant. Hello? Dr. Durant, it's Daphne Delator. Are we more Sunstar this round, or are we playing Buckshot Roulette? I'm aiming to try to go more Sunstar this route. That being said, I've definitely made a couple choices that wound up being the moon still, without trying. But I feel like we've gotten a decent amount of these too. We have not gotten a lot of globe. That one's kind of easier to avoid because it's more like I don't believe anything than the I believe everything that's being told to me right now. Bucky, good morning. Ooh, a fishy tamale. Not a bad combo. Hello, Daphne. Why are you calling? Well, you told me I could call. True, but you haven't been in touch since August, and it's Sunday. Sunday. At the Monster Truck Rally, Sunday. Alright, they're going into the dream thing. We did this last time. It feels like a premonitory. Premonitory. It feels like it's telling me something. That sounds like the star answer. I don't know, the dream, it was really strange. It almost felt like a premonition. You're entitled to your beliefs, Daphne, but let me remind you that you are in charge of your own destiny. Actually, I'm in charge of your destiny, Daphne, and you're fucked. Actually, I got you fucked by Frank, so you know. Don't forget that. Even if this dream was indeed a premonition, as you say, don't be trapped by the idea that your fate can't be changed. Yes, you're right. Most of all, don't push yourself too hard. Take some time to think things over. You've been through a lot of changes. When you get your bearings, everything will be fine. You'll see. Thank you, doctor. You told me your ex-partner paid you a visit. How did you see things there? Um, we said the intrusive thing last time. I think we give him a chance. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Sometimes I ask myself if I wasn't too hard on him. Then again, I can't see that there's any way to get us out of this impasse. I think you're right, both to question yourself and to take the time you need to think it through. Whatever you decide together, it would be a shame to make the same mistakes again. Well, we can't. You're probably right. So you mentioned a young man, Stanislas. Is that right? I have mentioned him. Yeah, I don't really know what to think of him. On one hand, he was intolerably rude, but on the other, I do find the Martyrs quite intriguing. I'm just going to. I'm just trying to point out that Frank isn't the only alternative. Maybe you're more open to new opportunities than you care to admit. I like how Durant is just like, yo, but what about the other boy? Me and Stanislas Malter? That seems a bit far-fetched, Doctor. I'm only reacting to what you told me, but if you allow me, I'd advise you not to rely on Frank being the solution to everything. And if you want your relationship to work, you need to make sure of your own well-being first. This is all very new dialogue because last time we just told Frank to shut the fuck up. And now the doctor is like, so you slept with Frank, but don't think Frank is your only option. One more thing. Before we get back to your own regular Sundays. Sunday. How do you feel about your new job? I love it. It's so good. I really love my new job. Oh, that was earthy. That's interesting. I know it wasn't sure when I left, but believe it or not, I love my new job. It's perfectly normal to be anxious in your situation. I would sure hope you would enjoy it. You are right. Teaching is really fulfilling. It's so satisfying to be able to enable these young brains to get a grip of complex ideas. I'm glad to hear that. Hang on to that positive element. It will help you get through the trials life throws at you. All right, Daphne. I'm sorry I have to go. I'm glad to hear that you're more at peace. No matter what, I don't think you've got any need to worry. It's perfectly normal to doubt yourself and to need time to get your bearings. I'm glad to hear you say that. As for your sleepwalking, just don't be alarmed. You told me about the wardens living nearby. Perhaps you could ask them to be on their guard. They're in their 60s. Okay. Oh, and unless it's an emergency, try to check the day of the week before you jump on the phone. I work during the day. All right. See you no more. Have a good Sunday. Thank you. You too. All right. Oh, we're lolling again. We're lolling on the sofa. I'm surprised I find Frank beaming at me on the porch and holding a bunch of flowers. Carnations, your favorite. When I saw them at the market, I thought of you right away. He hands me the flowers as he steps inside. How about a coffee? Sure. So how are things going? Do you like the village? This is a new outfit, right? I feel like we had this scene in a different outfit where she was lollying around. Or maybe I'm misremembering. I got a couple jobs. That's great. Congratulations. How are you doing? We chat. 1 hour and 2 coffees later, he decides to get to the point. Told me about the tower with no door. Do you remember? I got to admit, I was pretty intrigued. Do you mind if I take a look? Not at all. Help yourself. I'm as intrigued as you are. I'll investigate and report back to you. Want me to check around for an old pipe? I think you ought to be properly equipped, don't you, Sherlock Holmes? Very funny. I'm sure I can resolve this mystery of the Yellow Room. Back to lollying. He looks disheveled. So from the look of your face, I'm guessing it wasn't elementary, my dear Watson? Nope, I have to admit defeat. So what are your conclusions? It must be the entrance somewhere, but I can't find it. It's in the basement. Try to get in by the wall with a ladder. But the arrow slits are too narrow and too deep. I can't see anything inside. Let alone get in unless I blow up the wall. We're lollying like Nadine's lollipop like pineapple. I don't know. I feel like lollipop pineapple is a new combo we haven't seen before. Also, what would a lollipop like pineapple look like? What would that be? A pineapple on a stick? No idea what's inside. Told you. Suggested getting on the roof. We did this conversation as well last time. Oh, good. He just leaves. Okay. Monday's tiresome. I top it off at the school gates. Miss Levique glares balefully at me as it waits for her son. Weighing the pros and cons, she's striding towards me. What should I do? I think I chose to let her come last time. And then wound up getting distracted anyway, so I think we just say this one. Yeah, okay, that gave us the sun. I see Stanislas Malter holding a child by the hand out of the corner of my eye. Without pausing to think, I walk toward the familiar face, and it seems to work. Mrs. Levique gives up and returns to the other side of the gate. Stanislas watches me with a smirk. He seems to find the situation highly amusing. So this time I went to him instead of him coming to me. Uncle Stan, who's this lady? Oh, well, Pierre, that pretty lady is Daphne Delatour. She lives in the castle. I don't know what voice I just did. That was weird. At the witch's castle? You're not a witch, are you, miss? What did I feel like I gave him like a crunkish kind of voice, right? Like a Patrick Warburton kind of voice, like yours. No, do no. I give up. Do excuse him. As you can tell, he's not afraid to speak his mind. He adds with a wink. He takes after his uncle, I suppose. I crouch down to the child's height. Perhaps I'm a nice witch. Since I live in the witch's castle, I must be a witch, right? He hides beneath his uncle's legs, intimidated. Yeah? In that case, I must definitely be one. Perhaps I'm the kind of a nice kind of witch, don't you think? Do they really exist, Uncle Sam? Nice witches? Of course they do. Miss Delatour is a teacher at a middle school. She knows what she's talking about. I stand up and notice Stanislas is putting out his hand. I don't believe we've been formally introduced. Stanislas Malter, but my friends call me Stan. Daphne Delatour, but it seems you already knew that. Of course. You must have noticed how fast news spreads around here, Daphne. May I call you Daphne? Since you met the patriarch last month, he hasn't stopped talking about you. That poor man's completely obsessed with what happens at the castle, and it isn't improving with his age. Alright, so he's addressing the fact that we met his father. But don't let that put you off. The rest of the family isn't cut from the same cloth. We must have a coffee together one of these days to get to know each other. I'm sure we have a lot in common. Before I have a chance to answer, he adds, by the way, did you receive your invitation to the cocktail party? Cocktail party? I do hope you'll come. My father always makes me attend, but it's atrociously stuffy. Uncle Stan, can we go for my snack? Yeah, Pierre, in a minute. Well, Junior wants a snack, so we'd better go. Say goodbye to Daphne, Pierre. Hey, my name's Pierre Yves, not Junior. Kid takes my hand. Will you come with us, Auntie Daphne? I think he might have adopted you. Auntie Daphne has things to do. She can't come with us at this time. Come on, let's go home. You're driving. For real? Of course not. Daphne, it was lovely to meet you. See you soon. With a few moments, Stan and Junior have disappeared in a sports car, and I'm left speechless on the sidewalk, trying to sort out what just happened. When I get back to the house, I discover I have mail. Elegant square envelope containing an invitation to a cocktail party. I guess that's what Stan was talking about. Looks like I'm invited to the reopening of the Town Hall Gardens that have just been renovated. I bet all the cream of local society will be there, so I could just be an excellent opportunity to learn more about the Maltesers. I could ask Frank to come with me, but I know this kind of social event isn't really his cup of tea. On the other hand, going on my own... Alright. We want to get with Stan. We know last time when we went by ourselves, Stan kissed us in his drunken state. Against our will. But, you know, we're trying to get with Stan this route, I think. We're going to not ask Frank. D-Day arrives fast. We got to prepare. Alright, so we got to figure out which dress we want to put on. Last time we put on the blue one. And sexy dress time? I think we do the sexy dress this time. Just because we put on the blue one last time. Just so we can see what the alternative is, kind of thing. Yeah, we knew the blue one was going to be the sun. But that's fine. I feel like we've done enough sun to counteract the moon to a degree. It's a bit skimpy for October, but the weather seems warm enough. I might be a little cold, but I'll deal with it. It's not like I have 1,000 options. Now we confirm. Now that I've dealt with the dress, I need to sort out my hair. I pin it into an elegant updo, add a touch of makeup, and I'm ready to leave. It's already late when late when I leave the house. Hose don't get cold. I climb into my little car, and a few minutes later, I'm there. The Town Hall Gardens are magnificent. This is not the hairstyle for the outfit you're wearing, lady. A lot of people whine everywhere. Maltesers didn't balk at the expenses. Okay. So Yves is approaching us with the haunty blonde woman. Good evening, Miss Delator. I'm so glad you came to our little party. I must confess, I've been very eager to learn more of the castle's new owner. Let me introduce you to my wife, Clothilde Malter. Good evening, Miss Delator. Daphne, pleased to meet you. Her icy handshake contrasts sharply with her husband's bonhomie. I can read a mix of contempt and distaste in her eyes. Odd. Looks like my daughter, Soline, has been ambushed by old Mr. Mori. He waves his hand towards a pretty young blonde woman across the path. She leans down to an old man in a wheelchair who caught her by her waist and seems determined to hang on to her as long as decency allows. As for my son, I believe you've already met him. Yes, I have. Well, now that we've done with the introductions, let me get to the point. I must tell you, my invitation wasn't without an ulterior motive. As you'll see for yourself later, during the opening ceremony, we are very concerned about the preservation of our cultural heritage here in the village. And, as you may have heard, our relations with your grandmother were, how should I put it, strained. Last time we cut him off, I'm going to let him continue. Yes, I have heard that. I imagine your maintenance costs at the castle must be quite significant. If you would agree to open it up to visitors a few times a year, the town council may be able to help you out with some of those expenses. It's worth a thought. Your offer is certainly worth considering. It is, isn't it? I'm sure it's a win-win situation. The tower, especially as an architectural marvel, A building so old and so well conserved. It's extremely rare, you know? It's almost criminal to keep it out of the public eye. And it would be absolutely tragic to see it fall in disrepair due to lack of maintenance. Hey, I'm taking great care of it. It's not the kind of decision one can take lightly. I'll have to think it over. Anyway, let me assure you that I have the very best intentions, and I hope all of my heart that your move here will signal a new cordiality between our families. What do you know about the tower? What happened between our family? What? Let's lean into the. What do you mean? Oh, that was Earth. Whoops. Um, can you tell me what happened exactly between the Maltaires and the Delators? This village is a hornet's nest, and the smallest trifles can take on enormous proportions. My grandfather had a grudge against the Delators when I was born, and I'm not sure even he knew the origins of the quarrel. Alright, so he's hiding it. Uh, oh, do we call him out? Is that we have to move on? I feel like we have to move on is gonna be a Moon, but also being saying you're lying is also feels like it's gonna be Moon. Um, let's. You're lying. Yeah. Then how do you explain my mother leaving? I'm guessing you're about the same age. I don't really see her leaving the area just because of a trifle. Daphne, it's been 30 years. That's a lot of water under the bridge. Then tell me the truth. What really happened? Rehashing the past would only add fuel to the fire. Trust me. You'll have to excuse me, but it's getting late, and I need to prepare for the unveiling. Have a nice evening. But... And he gone. Alright. Maybe the wrong call? I don't know. I feel like pushing... Both of those answers didn't really work out very well in my head, so... he disappears into the crowds. We could talk about other family members. Celine is being accosted, and Clothilde? We didn't talk to the mother last time. We saved her, which didn't work out in our favor, realistically. So maybe we talk to the mom. Clothilde Maltaire is chatting with a group of smartly dressed people. A vague smile plays on her lips. Her face is hard to read. Was she reluctant to attend this function? Or is the distant, haunting attitude part of the natural personality? Seeing me approach, she apologizes to her guests and takes me aside. Mrs. Maltaire. Listen, girl. I'm talking to Dr. Zakarian and his wife. If you've been raised with such a lack of basic good manners, well, I hope you'll excuse my bluntness, but I'm afraid I have neither the time nor the inclination to teach you otherwise. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go back to my guests, and you, I don't know, enjoy the buffet, maybe? I wish you a good evening. Goodbye. I'm dumbstruck as Clothilde turns away and returns to our conversation. I hadn't imagined she would be so hostile towards me. She busy, girl. I'll talk to Celine. When I see me approaching, Celine changes chance and finally to extricate herself from Mr. Maury's clutches. For an instant, her eyes go full gratitude and relief. She comes towards me with a large smile. You must be Daphne. This is the same conversation. Pleasure's mine. Stan told me you were delightful. He told you about me? Oh, really? He told you about me? He did. I want to apologize for his behavior. I know what he can be like around women. He probably wouldn't like me telling you this, but I think you made quite an impression on him. Me too. I must admit, he made quite an impression on me too. Celine beams at me. I knew it! Excuse my excitement, but I'm so delighted. You seem like a nice girl, reliable, exactly the kind of person Stan needs. You know, he's never had much luck with women. I couldn't tell you why, but it feels right with you. Damn, you call me not a woman? And his relationship with our parents is quite strained, but he could shake himself free of the family a bit. It would do him a lot of good. The problem is that he's the kind of person that has to be pushed to commit himself. I'm just saying, there's no pressure, but I'm counting on you, Daphne. She busts out laughing. But enough about my brother. Tell me about yourself. What do you do for a living? How do you like it in the village? We talk for a good 20 minutes. Attention wanders until, without notice, she disappears into the town hall, leaving me hanging. There's a ripple in the crowd. The guests are gathering around the platform. I suppose the unveiling ceremony is about to begin. Someone's walking against the current, pushing through the crowd in my direction. Ah, here he is. The man of the hour. Drunk off his hand. Daphne? Oh, it's Stan, carrying a glass of wine and looking rather drunk. You came. Great. You alright? Are you alright? Something tells me you had a bit much to drink, haven't you? Oh, too much? No, just a small anesthetic to get through the old man's speech. Come with me. Your sister must be around here somewhere. I turned my back to him, looking for Celine, who should know what to do with her brother in this kind of situation. I barely have time to around when Stan twirls me back, pulling me in against him. I look into his eyes. I understand perfectly well what is about to happen. I'm trying to hold him back, but exhaling wine fumes into my face, his mouth presses down on mine. Luckily, I'm saved by a raspy voice that stops Stan in his tracks. Oh! Isn't it enough for you that you corrupt our youth? Beatrice Leveque stands next to us, glaring at me. Calm things down. We calm this time. Last time we built up, we calm. Calm down, Miss Leveque. I was just leaving. If you just... Oh! I got splashed. At least the black dress is easier to clean than the white with the red wine. Beatrice doesn't let me finish my sentence, but throws the contents of her glass of red wine in my face. That's for you, you filthy! Surprised by the attack, I take a step backwards and stumble. I feel a sharp pain in my left hand. I feel my cheeks flushing. A ball of heat seems to blaze into my chest. Filthy what? Filthy witch? Is that what you wanted to say? Stan helps me up. I feel something warm dripping down my fingers and realize I must have cut my hand when I fell. See? And now I'm injured. Are you happy? Since I'm a filthy witch, I curse you. You'll pay for what you've done for me tonight. Is that what you wanted? Are you satisfied? If I'm a sorceress, as you say, why not put my powers to good use? Daphne, your hand. Blood has been drawn. Careful what you're about to... With perverse satisfaction, I watch Mrs. Leveque turn white as a sheet. I hold her gaze until she lowers her head and turns away. Stan puts his hand on my shoulder and shakes me gently. Daphne? Daphne, do you realize? I cut him off, exasperated. Oh, enough now. Leave me alone. I stride to the bathroom to clean out my wound, wipe out the wine from my face, and most of all, try to calm down. In the distance on the platform, Yves Malter has taken the microphone and is about to speak. My dear friends, neighbors, and fellow citizens, we've come together to celebrate the start of the fall season. As you all know, my tradition this time of year is dedicated to reflection and remembrance. It's a time when we think of those dear to us who have moved on, whose wait for us on the other side. But is also a time of the offering. We pray that nature and her invisible entities bring us a mild winter. But that's why our craftsmen have been working so hard all summer in preparation for this celebration, so that today we could present to you the fruit of our efforts. As we leave summer behind us to enter winter, this time of offering, as I said, seems to like the ideal moment to renew our pact with our protectors. Those invisible forces who have allowed our traditions to survive, century after century, not to disappear at the whim of invasion and external influences, and who bring us good fortune, happiness, and prosperity every year. So I'm proud to present you this physical representation of our pact, this statue, symbol of our community that has worn down by the years and the weather, has now been remade by the masterful hands of our exceptional local craftsmen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the Sphinx. Chapter 4. November. She was transferred to intensive care last night, and she died this morning. The doctors did all they could, but they said that her chances of survival were very slim. How did I get here? We're already well into November, yet I feel as though the cocktail party happened just yesterday. When Eves unveiled the statue of the Sphinx that looked exactly like the one I saw in my dream, it was as though I was struck by lightning. There, in front of me, was the confirmation of an intuition that clung to me since I arrived here at the village. Feeling that there was something, somewhere, that would give meaning to all this, sometime that I grasped at, which slipped between fingers like a trickle of water. Unfortunately, I was quickly caught up in the everyday life. The term is already coming to an end, but buried beneath piles of papers to grade. Frank went back to the city 3 days ago. He had to supervise some work there, told me he'd be away until the end of the month at least. Surprised when he came over to tell me he was leaving. It made me realize that I hadn't seen him for a long while. I don't know what to think about this long trip, though. Maybe he's thinking of leaving the village for good. Stan called me. Or my voicemail. Alright, so we're not answering the phone for Stan still. Miss Delator, are you alright? You look upset. What happened? What her sister only took her to the cliff, pick up their son. Car seems to have skidded on a patch of ice. That's terrible. When I think of her son, yeah, as his class teacher, I count on you to watch. Jean-Baptiste is going to need our support to get through this. And I'm sorry to talk about it under these circumstances, but I did want to see you anyway. I know you're only here 6 months and you're probably doing your best you can, but how can I put it? Your methods leave something to be desired. I don't think you're really cut out to teach. I don't know what to say. I've had problems recently. Oh, okay, that was bad. The bad answer. The last 3 months have been difficult for me. I understand. There's no cause for alarm yet, but do try to put your heart into what you're doing. Okay. Alright. That was the bad answer. My bad. Well, we've been over what we wanted to discuss. May I ask you something a little more personal? Of course. Yeah, go ahead. Feel free. Ask me whatever you want. I'm listening. Stop me if I'm wrong, but how can I put this? There's talk in the village. I know you had words with Miss Leveque at the cocktail party over a month ago. Did you by any chance, I don't know how quite to put it. Well, let me just come out straight. Did you by chance, reiterate the by chance, have any responsibility at all for Miss Leveque's absence? Let's change the subject. Ooh, we got the sun, the star. I'm not very comfortable with that question. Besides, Mr. Chestnut, my beliefs are my business and no one else's. As for what you're accusing me of, I hope you're not going to ostracize me like half the village just because I'm a delator. It's because I'm supposed to be in my blood, isn't it? That we're nothing but a family of witches. As for Mrs. Leveque, if I had any influence over her sad fate, I promise you that wasn't my intent. Even if we didn't see eye to eye on many things, why would I want the poor woman dead? Actually, scratch that. I hate all men in this town. Please, don't be upset. I'm not upset. But I'll ask that in the future you keep your remarks to yourself, sir. Have a good day, Mr. Chestnut. Dun 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 dun. Actually, scratch that. I hate all men. Yep, that's fair. And there's a sports car at my house. Who would have guessed? The man who invited himself into my house and started pouring himself a glass of whiskey. I would offer you a drink, but it looks like you already had taken matters in your own hand. Pour myself my own good measure and light a cigarette. It was open, so I let myself in. And I'm not sorry, since you kept me on my tenterhooks for some time. I'm already on my second refill. I'm aiming to date Stan, yes. I might have already slept with Frank this run, but I'm dating Stan. I thought school teachers finished work much earlier, don't they? I was held up. Daphne, we need to talk. It's been a month. What an option. Hot mess arc? We need to talk? Kiss. Oh, okay. Seductiveness is apparently just getting us a bunch of moons. Just throwing that out there. We got the moon ending earlier without trying, but we're getting more moon endings, it seems. I know why you're here. Don't play dumb with me. I take a step closer and take hold of his tie. Oh, okay. He seems strangely hesitant. Then I feel his body relax and he kisses me back. Without exactly remembering how it happened, Stan is topless. We're in my bedroom. We don't get much sleep that night. Hey, yo. In the morning, I'm woken by Stan stroking my cheek gently. So Moon is seductive and also fuck you leaving. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a weird line of category. A fresh cup of coffee for me in his other hands. As I was saying before you interrupted me, Daphne, we need to talk. It's been a whole ass night, but now we need to talk. Stan takes a deep breath and begins. Of course, there is my father, his projects and the old quarrel with the Delators, and his sick obsession with the tower. But when I heard about Beatrice Litvick, that's when I realized this situation. This is the exact same conversation we had the other route, except we just didn't have the sex in the middle of it. This is the exact same conversation. I have to know, so I'm just going to lay it on the line. Did you know that we were doing back there? I didn't know what I was doing. Since I came here, I've felt things. Mainly between my legs, but things. Multiple. Sex is meaningless when you have exposition to tell. Between the strange dreams, the castle, and everything I've heard about my family, yes, I wanted to believe. But now, if the stories are true, that makes me a murderer. Come on. On the other hand, when Mrs. Levique attacked me at the cocktail party, I saw red. I wanted her to pay. I wanted her to suffer. But if I'd guessed for 1 second she'd end up dead. I'm overwhelmed by emotion. I realize I've been holding my tears back since the director broke the news to me. I'm in his arms. I burst into tears, and Stan takes me in his arms. I let him. I'm torn by conflicted emotions. I think of Frank. He should be the one comforting me. I don't know why, but I feel I can trust Stan. And I'm afraid, almost that perhaps, he understands me better than Frank ever did. I feel like that's the wrong sentence, but okay. A few minutes later, I tumultuously blink away the last tears. When he's sure most of the storm is behind us, Stan gently lets go of me and, looking me straight in the eye while holding me by the shoulders, says, "Please forgive me. I've been terribly inconsiderate." Of course. You couldn't have known what would happen. I keep forgetting you're not from here, and besides, no one's told you what's happening in the village. So please, I beg you, don't feel guilty. It's us, the Maltaires, and everyone around here, who should feel guilty for not warning you. Something else to tell me? I can't read? I'm afraid I do. My father made you an offer at the cocktail party, didn't he? He did. We actually listened to it this time. Well, yeah, about the tower, right? He wants to gain access to it, if I understood correctly. Exactly. If he hasn't come to see you yet, it's because he's building his case with the town council. He's got Celine on it, and he's got her working day in and day out. Poor Celine. He wants everything settled before he tells you his plans. What can he really do to me? The house is legally mine. He can't throw me out just like that for no reason. Maybe, but I assure you, it's no joke. Whatever happens, you mustn't accept. Why do you want me to refuse so much? I know Yves. My own father, like it or not, I've been dealing with him since I was born. He's a shark, and considering how much he resents the Delators, I can assure you that whenever he proposes to you, he will serve his own interest, but more importantly, it will harm yours. What's inside the tower? What's so special inside the tower? According to legend, the tower has been built on some kind of magical vortex. Feels a bit silly saying this. No, you're right. That would explain a lot. The Teletors have been... What did she mean by that? Teletors have always been an influential family in the area. Your family have kept to their traditions despite the law, and the name Delator of the tower goes from mother to daughter, and the eldest daughter has always been the spiritual guide of the community. A kind of Celtic grand priestess, if you see what I mean. Since, well, Christianity never really got very popular around here, as you probably noticed. Daphne is brain dead this run. The story goes to your ancestor. The Grand Priestess had a dispute with my ancestor, and my family had no choice but to curse yours to save their honor. Since that time, the Maltaires have accumulated wealth and prospered well, while the Delators have declined. Fair enough. But all that happened a long time ago. Why keep such an old quarrel alive? Not only did I do nothing to harm your family, but it looks to me like the Maltaires already have the upper hand, don't they? That's where the tower comes in. As I understand it, these blessings have a price, and my father wants to get into it to lift the curse that takes the toll on my family too. And the tower is the key to lifting the curse. But I can't let Yves get inside because he may want to harm me? Exactly. It may sound stupid, but I have to ask, do you know where the entrance to the tower is? No, but everyone in the village knows that it was condemned after the events that tore both our families apart. So why didn't anyone tell me? Don't judge the villagers too harshly. They're naturally superstitious, especially when it comes to us. You can't trust anyone in this town except me. I'm the only one you're allowed to talk to from now on. I mean, should I brace myself for more revelations, or is that it? I guess I've told you most of it. The crux of the matter anyway. But you must have 1,000 questions. Tell me about yourself. What's your life like? What do you want me to tell you? I don't know. What do you do with your days? Do you have any ambitions? I feel him closing up like an oyster. Without meaning to, I guess I've hit a sore spot. I'd like to be able to tell you I have an exciting and fulfilling life, but I'm afraid I'm just a lazy rich kid. I fail at everything I try, bro. And it's not that I lack the capabilities, I just don't apply myself enough, or at all, and that's probably worse. Aw, it's okay, I'll reassure you. You're wrong, we barely know each other, and I'm already sure you're a good person. You're great in bed. I talked to your sister, and at the cocktail party, she cares about you far more than you might think. She was singing your praises for the way that you take care of our nephew. You're a long way from just being just a lazy rich kid. Thanks. It's nice of you to say so. And I guess you're right. Celine and Pierre are counting on me. I don't know what I'd do without them. And then I met you. I know it's a total cliche and kind of soppy, and I hope that you're not going to make tracks. But I think that, for once, I like to go a bit further than just fooling around, like sleeping with me? Me too. Me too. He doesn't let me finish the sentence, but throws himself at me and kisses me. What is this? I don't know how to do anything because I'm a lazy rich kid. Do literally anything! There's a melancholic sweetness to his kiss that I haven't thought he was capable of. Thank you. I needed that. Your soul, sucking my soul out of my lips. To my surprise and frustration, Stan releases me abruptly and sits back down beside me. Well, there it is. That's my life, broadly speaking. I don't do too much with my time, to be honest. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I guess it's not as sexy as you thought. If you don't like it, it's never too late to change, you know. You could just get up and travel 300 miles away and start a whole new life on your own. Sure, shall we talk about something else? Okay, I get it. I'll stop bugging you. Tell me about your family. Your family, I'm curious. Can you tell me about them? Remember what Stan did in the true timeline? I shall never forgive him. What do you mean this is the true timeline? You grabbed the nuts and the bolts. I grabbed the nuts, alright. The parents, I think we've read all this already. Manipulation, distortion, breed. Yeah, we read all this. Yeah. Moving around, blah, blah, blah. Yves, you're not fit. Celine and her son are here. You don't want to leave them alone. That makes sense. Your father believes in the supernatural. You don't really believe in it, but you believe in it. Welcome to my world. He adores his grandfather for good reason. Generational values. They wanted for their daughter was a good marriage that would preferably help the family affairs. Stan stopped talking. His eyes are far away. I'm lost for word if I break the silence. Well, that's it. Now you know everything. What's your father planning? On arc where we take no shit as my truth. Yves wants the tower. He'll get it at any cost. He'll use the town to be able to exhaust us. Yep. Okay, we know this. We had to learn the plot points. We slept with 2 different guys along the way, but we learned all the plot points. Alright. I think we covered everything. Cool. Everything about this, yes. However, we went into a particular issue last night, and I think we should explore the possibilities a bit further. What options? We're already in hot water with our job. We might as well stay with you. Oh. Okay, that's naughty. We're going the horny hot mess arc, apparently. If anything, we might wind up in the moon star category. We have done a lot of sun. I've been trying to get the sun as much as I can, but accidentally going into moon category a lot within the past couple of choices. You're making me play hooky, but your proposition is much too tempting to refuse. Just give me a minute to call in sick for the day. I can write you a note if you want. Days go by. We're going at it like rabbits. Still nothing from Eve. Oh. I must admit. I must confess, I think about him more than I should, but I'm not sure I want to follow up on it. Frank is still in town and won't be back before the end of the month. I don't know what I should do. Oh, so sleeping with Frank make it so that we're questioning whether to be with Stan or not. Alright, I might have messed up by sleeping with Frank. Should I tell him about Stan at the risk of losing him again? Then there's the Bortines. I haven't seen them in a while. Sometimes I think of Celine. Oh, this is right. Okay, this is where we get to decide. Oh, we did not get this option last time, I don't think. Let's call Stan. I pick up the phone and call Stan. He's thrilled to hear from me and wants to meet up. Perhaps I ought to end things with him, tell him that it was just a one-night stand. Or I could ask him to wait until I've worked things out with Frank. And then there's the third option, I could see him again. Of course, that means lying to Frank. Why is it lying all of a sudden? Got an hour off at school this afternoon. I could go by to his place. Let's go see him between classes. Again, this is apparently Moon. I tell him I'll come see him in the afternoon between classes. I can't think of anything else for the whole morning. I'm bursting with impatience when I take my car to meet him. We have a great time together. A couple days later, he's waiting for me at the end of the school. I'm wondering if Stan is the moon route and Frank is the sun route somehow. Kind of thing. Like, that's how they divide that out. Although, I think sleeping with Frank also gave us a moon. I don't know. Maybe just sleeping. Yeah. Horny and hellish. We meet more and more often. One time we get a room at a small hotel in the village. Why? You have a whole castle. Another time we take a walk along a river hand in hand. I know it can't last. Sooner or later I'll have to make a decision. What should I do next? Let's call Celine. When I call Celine, she's surprised to hear from me, but she welcomes the idea of having a coffee together. We meet up in the afternoon in a small tea room with a terrace that looks out on a tree-filled square. Celine is waiting for me, cup in hand, watching her son who plays with the other children in the playground next to the terrace. The reason for the choice of this tea room is suddenly clear, considering the strategic location it represents for the young mothers of the village. But since my miscarriage, I avoided those kinds of places like the plague, as they tend to dredge up a stew of bad emotions. I try to keep my face composed as I sit down with Celine. I guess I don't do a great job, since she asked me with a concerned face. Are you alright? Let's tell her what's wrong. Yeah, sorry. It's this kind of cafe with the playground. It reminds me of a time in my life that was difficult. Oh, yes, of course. What an idiot. I should have known, seeing as you're a delator. What do you mean? Well, the delators always had, childbearing issues. There's a hush. Sorry, that was inconsiderate. No, it's nothing. It's me. I should have let myself take back to the page of my life so easily, but I'll never get it past it. Dig further. What do you mean the delators always have childbearing issues? That's something they say in the village, all the local stories. It seems that the delators, in exchange for being the spiritual leaders of our community, had to pay a kind of tribute. And that tribute was the sacrifice of the firstborn of each generation. But my mother only had one child, so that's why I lost my baby. Sounds like this sounds like the star answer. We're gonna go star. Yeah, that was the starry. That would explain why I lost my baby. It's just what they say in the village, but if it gives you some solace, then I'm glad. She smiles gently, and I sense that she's truly sorry for me. We chat for a while. Conversation is frequently interrupted by Pierre Yves, who wants to show us a fascinating stone, to ask for a cookie, or to recount the incredible adventure that had happened to him in the playground's fort. If Celine, who finally cuts to the chase, saying out of nowhere, "So now that we're through all the niceties, can we get to the real reason you called, don't you think? I'm fairly sure Stan has told you about my father's plan, and you want to ferret out more information, don't you?" Our conversation had quickly become a minefield. I need to choose my next words very carefully. Talk your way out of this, except that she's not wrong. Which of these is the son, do you think? I feel like this seems more sunny to me than accepting that she's not wrong. This is like leaning into the bitchiness of it to a degree. Or this could be seen as being the bitchy, like, no, 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 I'm not doing that. I'm totally lying to your face kind of way. Hmm. Um, Maybe we just accept. My instinct is to say accept. Ah, damn, it was the Boone one. I didn't come here for that, but since you're asking, I must admit I am curious to know more. Ah, I knew it. You Delators really are all the same. But no, I knew it was too good to be true, that you had a hidden agenda when you called. She stands up and glaring down at me says, Don't waste your time. You won't get anything out of me. She takes her son by the hand. They leap in ahead. Damn, that was the wrong answer, apparently. I can't help. I should just be like, oh, my instinct is to choose this. I'm going to choose the opposite. As for me, I stay there dazed and slightly wounded by what happened. Even if I have no real proof, something tells me that Celine's disproportionate reaction is a result of Eve's determination to undermine me. I pay the bill and go back to the castle. What should I do next? Well, we only have one option left, so I guess we're just doing it. We went to the doggo again. Alright, I think we've been through this entire conversation already. He's doing the crossword while she's just like, yeah, we've been here this whole time. It's not the Maltera's fault this time. I'm afraid it's not the Maltera's fault this time. You mean, yes, I think it's my fault. I didn't know. How could I? No one told me anything. You just need to be a wet blanket of a person, apparently, if you want the sun around. Oh, miss, I'm so sorry. I guess the legends were true. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Talk to me about the curse. Tell me what you know. I think we did literally all of this. Because this is just more exposition. So I'm gonna just quickly boop, 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 boop. Tell me about the tower. Now this is the route where we go look at the tower now. Yep. We go all the way out there, look at the tower. Somehow it's at night because we're shining a flashlight on it. And then we return back to their house. And they're like, why sphinxes? And they're like, well, sphinxes aren't just Egyptian, you dumb dipshit. Well, you're a math teacher, so that makes sense why you wouldn't know about history. And then after they insult us, we're like, oh, but is there anything else that can happen? Tell me about her. Wouldn't know about anything about her, really. Her husband got in an accident. We're blaming the Malters for the accident. Alright, goodbye. Thanks for all the exposition, lady. I have to know more. Who else can give me answers? There's only the Malters who might know more, and yet Yves would know for sure. But Yves would know for sure, but I'm not sure even his wife or children are in his confidence. But surely there's someone else, isn't there? Yeah, there's Sophie, your mother, the last Delator to know the secrets. And now we wait. Alright. We teach class. Frank is still away. I must confess, I'm not looking forward to breaking the news about Stan to him. I have difficulty focusing on his work. Oh, dream time. It's the same dream. The same one as last time. The sense of deja vu. We're at the puddle. Our reflection shows us. We're changing. We're shifting. We're changing. We're shifting. We're changing. Oh, we're in the black dress this time. Black hair, black dress. We definitely got a lot more moon. I'm wearing a black dress. My hair is very long, black, straight. Something dark and powerful seems to emanate from my reflection. I look determined, sure of myself. I like it. Somehow dangerous and provocative. I'm surprised to find myself thinking it wouldn't take much for me to become the Daphne in the mirror. A sexy villainous arc, probably. I wouldn't call it villainous. I would call it sexy, though. We're in the sexy arc. I touch my reflection. Come back to the statue of the Sphinx. Her gaze is different. She looks ahead with defiance and determination. That's when everything changes. I'm driven by the strength and stability that seems to emanate from the statue. This time, I don't let myself fall into the darkness. This time, I find the courage to turn around and confront the threat the Sphinx stares, her gaze immobile. That's when I see the beast for the first time. We watch each other for a second that seems to last forever. Then the beast hurls itself at me. At that moment, when its claws are poised to lacerate my belly, then I shudder awake. Chapter 5. It's December. I'm gonna get ready for the market when I hear a car coming up the lane. I think immediately of Frank, who said he'd be back very soon and must be eager to see me. To my surprise, it's a large black sedan. And Eves is getting out, and yep, okay. Good evening, Daphne. As you can see, my daughter and I have been working very hard. I'm listening. Thank you for giving me a little of your time. You'll see, it's a very attractive project. The general idea would be to open the tower to tourists during the summer season. We would do guided tours, and there's the library. You mean there's a library inside the tower? Oh, didn't you know? Haven't you been inside the tower? Interesting. Meaning? Never mind. Would you mind if we go inside? We'd be more comfortable. It's rather chilly today. And then out of the corner of my eye, Mr. Bortine walks up with a rifle in his hand. Hello, Miss Daphne. Mr. Malter? Standing at his side, my gun in hand as if ready to use it. Are you alright? I hope Mr. Malter isn't bothering you. Listen, Gerard, I'm just chatting with Miss Delator. Would you mind giving us some privacy, please? It's okay, Mr. Bortine. It's okay. It's okay, Mr. I hear a car coming. And in comes Mom. Mom? I see it's high time I got here. Hello, Daphne. Gerard? Yes, ma'am. Please fire a warning shot, will you? Blah, 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 blah. He does his thing. Gerard? Yes, ma'am. I authorize you to fire a second shot at Eves if he isn't left the property in 30 seconds. Very well, ma'am. Please take my luggage to the yellow bedroom in the west wing. Of course, ma'am. And send Gilberte over here, please. I'd like her to make us a coffee. I need to talk to my daughter. Blah, 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 blah. Mom shows up and does her thing. Yeah, I got your letter. Why did you warn me? That's a son. The music got so loud all of a sudden. Holy. My ears. I'm gonna turn that down. What were you doing in Asia? Well, you know, Asian things. I'm pretending to be Asian. Grew up being Asian. Got a job being Asian. Even though I'm French. Ish. Still don't know if I'm French. Have you been having strange dreams? Okay, here's the sexy piano arc. Yeah, I have almost premonitory. Whatever that word means. Yes, I've been having a reoccurring dream about a sphinx and a kind of creature. Ah, I knew it. But she cuts me off before I can continue. Have there been strange accidents since you arrived here? I didn't do it on purpose. How could I know it's capable of that? It's worse than I thought. No one told me. She waves her hand at me, impatient at my excuses. Another thing. Have you found the entrance to the tower? No, I haven't. And no one was able to tell me where it was. Good. What do you think is inside? A source of magical energy. Like Stan told me. The tower's built on a kind of vortex of magical energy, right? In fact, it's built in the old place of worship, and more importantly, it contains the archives. The archives? Well, yes, I don't know what you imagine, but the reality is certainly far less exciting than your very active imagination. Mom looks so upset. So uninterested in us. Geberte, tell Gerard to go to the basement. Bring a pickaxe. We go into the basement. The place is full of wine. There's a tapestry on the wall. Do you feel it? I move closer to the wall, wondering what my mother is getting at. And I do. Oh, we didn't feel anything last time. Now we feel something. We didn't feel anything before. I do. I feel an almost imperceptible vibration that sends a prickle of goosebumps across my skin. Yes, some sort of... The words dry up in my mouth as I try to turn my mother and read the profound sadness in her gaze. Just as I'm about to speak again, we hear a noise from behind us, Rainbow going, premonitory. Ah, here comes Gerard. Gerard, can you take down the tapestry, please? Mr. Bortine complies and I hurry to help him. Let Gerard do it, Daphne. He'll get dirty. Mom, you're pushing it. Mr. Bortine is not your slave. Yeah, you're right. I hardly arrived here and I'm back in my old ways. When I left everything behind so that I wouldn't have raised you in these horrendous values. Excuse me, Gerard. I'll be more considerate. You know, my Gilberta and I are happy to lend a hand. We're not doing it for you, but for your daughter. Just don't forget we're retired. We're not as strong as we were. I'm the ghost of pronouncing things. Premonitory. Can you break the wall here? She points. They break the spot. There's a door. Wow, I guess there was a door. The door hidden in the wall. Mom opens the drawer of a nearby cupboard and takes out a large ornate key. You want to see inside, Gerard? Oh no, madam. I have plenty of time to look later. You must have a lot to discuss with your daughter. I'll head back to the lodge if you need a man along. Of course, thank you, Gerard. Mr. Bortine gives us a nod. Oh, and Gerard. Yes. Thank you for taking care of Daphne in my absence. We enter the tower and climb a flight of wooden stairs. We come to a large room plunged in shadow. Mom takes a candelabra from the table and lights the candles with the matches that have been left next to it. She then proceeds to light the other candles around the room until a soft light gradually illuminates the large circular space. The floor is made of a huge granite stone carved with interlacing geometric shapes. Celtic origins are obvious in the patterns used, the way ornamentation has been done, but they are very well preserved in contrast to the most ancient ruins exposed to centuries of bad weather. The walls are covered with shelves loaded with documents, books with leather covering the scrolls and rolled upon themselves. We were silent for a while. Then Mom says, so I left the secret door key 2 fucking feet. To be fair, there was just no door there. Like, even if you took tapestry down, you would have to bust down the wall to find the door. Your inheritance, Daphne. What are all these books? The memory of the village. The most ancient ones were written by our ancestors thousands of years ago. The tower was built on the site of the old place of worship. There seems to be some kind of magnetic field that helps preserve them. Yeah, it seems this place is special. There's a strange quality in the air here. Is that why there's almost no dust and moisture? Exactly. You're on the site of an ancient place of pilgrimage, a place where they performed the miracles. Le miracale. When the country was colonized by the inhabitants were forced to convert the new religion, the region closed in upon itself. Our ancestors built the tower and began to compile all the oral knowledge of the old times. The Delators, the order of the priestesses, became welcomed the representatives of other cults that came from everywhere, escaping persecution and doing what they could to ensure the knowledge. We learned all this last time. Wonder where the secret door is. I don't know, Jeff. It's probably somewhere nearby since they left the key right here. Mom takes to an armchair. I sit on the sofa. Do you understand why Yves Maltier must not in any price get into the tower? Not really, still. He already has the whole village under his thumb. Without having access to the archives, I don't know what he might be capable of if he could tap into all the knowledge contained in the tower. Exactly. For generations and generations, the Delators have refused the Maltears access to the tower, and for good reason. But until now, it's been a losing battle. I've been several generations since the Delator has been able to perform the miracles. That's why I left. I didn't want you to live in this perpetual conflict. Why do you think I could change things? Deep down inside, I had always known you were different. I tried to protect you as much as I could. I didn't want you to carry this burden. If we'd stayed in the village, your grandmother would have raised you as if you were the Messiah. I wanted you to be able to choose your own path. I feel like protecting the village is the sunny answer, right? I'll avenge our family seems pretty hostile-y moon to me. Okay, I made the right choice there. Now, I'm aware of my responsibilities. I can't run away from them. I must protect the village from the Malters or any other threat. Do you realize you've been committing yourself to a life as a priestess? I do, but as you said, it's my destiny. My mother's pride is almost palpable. You're starting down a lonely, difficult path, and I'll do my best to help you. But enough about all that. Tell me about your life, about everything I've missed. You know, you shut me out of your life. I want to know what I've been missing out on. What? Where am I? Oh, this is where Celine. That's right. We've had this conversation before. Oh, well done. I'm glad I bumped into you. I haven't had a chance to congratulate you on the classy way to welcome my father. Apologize. I did not do that last time. I remember that. I'm sorry, but your father didn't choose an ideal moment. Oh, sure. It's because of Sophie, right? Like mother, like daughter. I don't even know why I'm surprised. Look, Celine, I'm sorry Eves made you do all that work on the file, but I never asked him to make me any offers. You're right. I keep forgetting you're just a school teacher. It's not as if you knew the meaning of hard work. Speaking of which, I have to go. Personally, I got work to do. She turns away. Her attitude hurts, especially the way her father has manipulated her. What a shame. Shout out to our teachers, by the way. Your work is very hard. It's on site, Celine. When I get back, Mom is reading on the sofa. Tell her I'm gonna get fresh air. I need to think and calm down. Out of the blue, she takes me in her arms and holds me tight. I enjoy the moment of affection, so rare from her. I can tell she feels bad for me, for the burden I've decided to carry, and the unjust enmity of the Malters that I have to cope with. I put on a scarf and a coat. It's frosty outside, biting, yet invigorating. A beautiful sunny winter day, which makes a change from the fog and showers we put up with all through November. I wander through the forest. I'm lost in thought and realize my feet have brought me to a small clearing with an oval pool at the center. I shiver as the temperature dropped. The snow is falling. Oh, okay. So instead of us having the mental breakdown and cutting our hair, we go on a nice nature walk to the pool. Again. I realize the day is dying. The last rays of sunlight are disappearing behind the treetops. I know I should turn around, go back to the castle before it's too dark to see. Am I dreaming? I can't look away from the pool. I draw closer and closer until without notice, I'm in the water. I'm gonna get hypothermia, and that's why my hair is gonna turn black? How does our hair go black then? Where do we find the sexy dress? Great questions, Reba. The icy cold pierces my feet with 1,000 needles. I turn black from the hypothermia. I understand. The pain seems almost unreal, as if I was in a dream. I go a little further. I know it's a bad idea, but I can't stop myself. The water's up to my knees. I look at my reflection in the pool. There's nothing strange about this Daphne, white as a sheet, sending a feverish stare back at me from the surface of the pool. Then suddenly, I'm overwhelmed by the void, and a biting liquid cold engulfs me. For a while, the darkness is complete. I'm in some kind of downy cocoon. The heat and the scent of wood fires flood my sense. I hear distant voices, but I'm unable to move. Was lucky I found her there. If I hadn't gone hunting... Bring her back, Gerard. I've been so worried sick. She left 3 hours ago, with the knight. Did you call her man Frank? Excuse me? Yes, I've spoken to him. He's coming back as soon as he can. Madam Sophie, come here. I think she's waking up. You gave us quite a scare. What happened? I was walking. I was just turning for home and... Gerard found you in the forest. You were unconscious, and you had fallen into freezing water. We were lucky to find you so quickly. Next to Mom, I see a mustached man in a suit. He snaps his briefcase closed and says, It's Dr. Zakarain! Well, I'll be going, Mrs. Delator, if you don't need mind. You've been very lucky. It could have been much worse. Thank you for coming so fast, Dr. Zakarain. As for her knee, she's a fractured kneecap. There's nothing to do but wait for it to heal. She mustn't overuse it, but it may take several months. She'll certainly have some trouble walking. Well, I'll go get her grandmother's walking stick from the hall. 2 or 3 days of complete rest, and she should be back on her feet. Here, I've signed you a sick note for work. Thank you, Doctor. I gradually realize that they're talking about me. In the living room, there's a blazing fire in the fireplace. I'm wrapped up in a heavy mohair blanket. I sit back on the sofa. When I put a foot on the ground to stand up, I feel a dull ache down my right leg. Careful, miss. You'll hurt yourself. The doctor said you have to rest. With a superhuman effort, I manage to blurt out, I think I will stay on the sofa. I lie down again and instantly fall into a dreamless sleep. When I come back to my senses, the fire is almost out, save a few glowing cinders at the back of the fireplace. The cold light of the early morning comes through the window. Mrs. Bortine is asleep in an armchair opposite me, wrapped up in a blanket. Not even our own mom. I hear noises from the kitchen. I put my feet on the ground. I can still feel the dull pain as I try to get up. A walking stick with a finely pressed brass pommel has been placed next to me. Leaning on it, I manage to drag myself to the kitchen. Mom is making herself a coffee, her back turned. Okay, you know what? Mom's making coffee. Mrs. Bortine is our real mom. I mean, fair. Mom? Daphne, you shouldn't be. She stops, and I read a sudden dread in her eyes. Daphne, your hair. I turn sideways to look into the mirror above the chest in the hall. I discover with horror that several strands of hair around my face have turned gray. What? After a few day rest, I see Dr. Zakarain again, and he allows me to go back to work. He confirms I might have difficulty walking for some time. It's depressing news. I don't like finding myself so diminished. As for my gray hair, he tells me it's a consequence of the shock I experienced. It's a relatively rare phenomenon, but there's no need to worry about it. I admit I hadn't thought much about it, with all I've gone through recently. I guess I'll probably end up dying it. I had Frank on the phone, but he seemed to have other things on his mind. He seemed worried about me, though. He told me he would be back and that we'd have to talk. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know what he's preparing, but I'm uneasy. When I go back to school, a man in a suit is waiting for me in the front of the classroom. He introduced himself as Mr. Muller, National Education Inspector. Takes a seat in the back, and my thoughts are elsewhere because I had no time to prepare, and suddenly I'm being reviewed. Yep, we had this last time. Okay. Frank's here. Ooh, I kind of like what you're doing with your hair here, though. It went from being just a couple strands to just, like, everything from, like, the neck down just turned white. Interesting dyeing choice. Daphne. Hello, Frank. We need to talk. I follow him into the living room. I can see he's furious. I haven't seen him in this kind of cold rage for a long time. That's not exactly pretty sexy. We can make this work. I mean, it's kind of... There is a sexiness to it. To a degree. You know, she's making it work. Not since the day I took my things and left him 6 months ago. Our relationship's been at a turning point again, and I need to choose my words carefully to avoid a scene. I ran into your mother. She told me I should do what I had to do, and that you shouldn't wait for dinner. Okay, this is the scene from before. Frank breaks the silence, takes a deep breath, and spits it out. I don't like the situation one bit. It can't go on any longer. I know I probably forced your hand when I moved into the village without consulting you. Besides, you've been acting strange since I came here. I don't want us to get back together. I don't want us to get back together. At least that's clear. I could feel it, even if I didn't want to admit it myself. It's the inheritance. All those stories from the village. It's all gone to your head. And I'm not stupid. When I saw the van, the Bortines came to tell me Maltaire had spent the night at the castle. The van? What van? What? The people from the village are right when they say you Delators are all witches. I heard the gossip about what you did to the poor Miss Levaque at the cocktail party. So what? Even if it's true, why do you care? I just hope you're not going to regret this later. Throwing away our relationship just for this bullshit. Never mind. It's not my problem anymore. I said my piece. Goodbye, Daphne. I wish you joy of it all. Your castle and your Maltaires. He stands up and looks down on me with contempt. Then he leaves the room. When I hear the engine of the van disappear in the distance, I'm struck by the conviction that I will never see him again. I feel like this scene did not need to happen. Oh, we got the messy white hair again. I stay alone in the living room, dumbstruck for a long time after Frank has left. Without warning, I burst into tears. How can he be so cruel? I've forgotten how much he could hurt me. To blame me for embracing my legacy, my roots, and so much intolerance. How can he think it's my fault that I'm different if I'm a witch? When the tears finally stop, I pour myself a glass of white wine from the fridge and decide I deserve a cigarette to calm my nerves. I earned that cigarette. As I walk across the house, I realize my mother had made herself scarce. I don't know whether I could be grateful to blame her for avoiding the situation, or the piano music just getting insanely loud again for this one scene in particular. She can't pretend to not know that I'm there when each of my steps is followed by the clunk of my walking stick of an old wooden floor. Piano hate Frank too. You gotta drown out the sorrows. I go to the bedroom to get my cigarettes. I light up one end and let myself slump on the foot of the bed. In front of the mirror. Image reflective of a pale young woman, frail and lost looking. And those gray hairs. Suddenly I came to the decision that my hair can't stay this way. I have to do something about it right now. I go to the bathroom and I search around frantically, certain that I've seen at some point a couple boxes of hair dye. A few minutes later, I find them at the back of the drawer. Probably my grandmother's store. The label says, Jet Black, Permanent Dye. Sounds perfect. Exactly what I need to show the rest of the world that I belong to the Delator family, and I embrace my status witch. I follow the instructions, applying the colored paste, then rinsing thoroughly at the end of processing time. You gotta make sure, I mean, you don't need to bleach it because you're using black, but like, you gotta make sure you were using gloves or something to bare minimum, otherwise your hands are also gonna be black. Oh, you know what? The black hair goes well with her eyes. I'll give her that much. A quick blow dry later, my auburn and white hair has become a shiny uniform black, the color of a crow's wing. This new look hardens my features a little and gives the illusion that my complexion is paler. As I'm inspecting my reflection, I realize the satisfaction that the image I see, in every aspect, identical to the one that appeared to me in my dreams several times during these last months. I get up early next morning. I have a long day ahead of me. I have to talk to Stan. Now that Frank has left, we have a lot to discuss. I start by giving him a call, asking him to meet me at the cafe in the village later in the afternoon. Then I retire to the tower to read the archives, this well of wisdom waiting to deliver their secrets to me. At the end of the afternoon, I take my car to meet Stan at the cafe. I stood him up, it looks like. He's by himself. Frank. He's sitting in the corner, and there's a large backpack on the floor next to him. Reading a book, but he glances around the room at regular intervals. Catches my eye, but goes straight back to his book. I guess he hasn't recognized me with his walking stick and my jet black hair. I sit across from him. Damn! Hello, Stan. Oh, Daphne, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. What happened to your leg? I hurt myself. An accident in the forest. It wouldn't have been serious, except I fell in freezing water. Fragile goth arc, yeah, boy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you okay? What about your hair? I dyed it. My hair turned a bit white after the accident. Besides, since everyone's so sure I'm a witch, I thought I'd choose an appropriate color. I nod at his backpack. Going somewhere? Oh, not by choice. I don't know what happened between you and Yeez, but he is seriously pissed. He threw me out in disgrace. I'm about to speak, but Stan continues. But I assume you didn't want to meet up just to listen to me complaining. Did you talk to Frank? Yes, it's done. He left. His face lights up in a mixture of incredulity and joy. Really? Does that mean you and I can move on together? It was never debatable. Yes. I'm at a crossroads. For the second time in a year, my ex just left me for good. I could start something serious with Stan. I can see that's what he's hoping for. And considering his circumstances, that would mean asking him to move in at the castle. Am I ready to do that? Fuck yeah. Come live with me at the castle. Wow. That's a picture. I like how the cane is just thrown off into the distance. Just waiting for the one word from me, Stan pushes aside the table that separates us and pulls me into an ardent kiss. What are we waiting for? Let's go. I have a home again. He pays the bill, and a few minutes later, we're home. About to start a new chapter in our story. Not the case, Stan. That's a crime, you fool. Ooh, here he is at... You know, this was just the three of them last time we were here. Now he's in the picture. Holiday season has arrived. I spent it at a home with Mom and the Bortines. Mom wasn't happy about Stan moving into the castle, but he's put forth all his efforts to win her over, and now she tolerates him being in the same room. Yves Malter hasn't shown up, not since he came to present his offer to me when Mom got in the way of his plans. I feel like That feels like a set plot point to have mom show up. So I don't know how we could do that differently. Unless we don't we play more to him at the scene at the garden. I don't know. It seems like we just get pissed at this point no matter what. I spend most of my time in the tower, learning about my family's fascinating past and the history of the area. I'm glad now that I waded through several years of Latin at high school, even if I'd never had guessed it would be useful at such unlikely circumstances. The stories inside the illuminated books are quite captivating, especially everything that refers to the source and those who covet it. I still have the strange dreams, but they're different now. I'm still in the forest, but there's no need more pool, no more sphinx. Perhaps because of all that has already happened? Each time the dream ends with my encounter with the strange beast, we watch each other. I feel as if it's trying to tell me something, but it can't speak. As if it wanted something from me. And then it turns away, disappears into the bushes. Chapter 6. January. Classes start up. The doctor, he wasn't very hard to convince. My leg isn't healing fast and the pain still often wakes me up at night. Allows me to keep practicing the miracles day after day. I feel more and more ready to confront the Maltaires. Whoa, we're in our witchy arc. Let's go. We got our wand. A walking stick. I spent a lot of time in the forest. I tried to find the clearing and the pool I fell into without success. Of course, I asked Mr. Bortine. He said he found me soaked to the skin, but there was neither cleared nor pool where I was lying. And there were all these unanswered questions about my family and the Maltaires. One day, as I'm reading through the Latin copy of The Red Dragon, more precisely, the section about necromancy, the solution suddenly comes to me. Why not try to invoke the spirit of my grandmother Adelaide? I'm pretty sure a little talk with her can help me fill the gaps. Oh boy. What a scene. Okay. At the right phase of the moon and planetary hour, I go into the forest for the ritual. I trace the lines on the ground with the consecrated knife, imposing the mark of my will upon the earth. Then, as I speak the words of power, a strange wind rises, bending the branches of the nearby trees. Suddenly, the magic circle flares up with a cold and sick fire. A form appears at the center of the fire. It's a woman, wreathed in flames, her face ravaged by pain and despair. I'd expect an old lady, but the woman before me is middle-aged, with a striking resemblance to myself. She looks at me, anger and sadness combined in her face, and before I even open my mouth, the ghostly vision is already fading. I make an effort of will, forcing the flames to remain. Adelaide de la Torre. What is this devilry? The Maltaires, a new way to torment me. I am Daphne de la Torre, your granddaughter. I command you to answer me. She explodes in demented laughter. I knew this would happen. Sophie, my daughter, it's all her fault. If she hadn't left, if the child had been raised in a tradition. I feel my grip on Adelaide's spirit slipping. If I want answers, I have no time to lose. What do you know about the beast that haunts me in my dreams? How can I get rid of Yves Maltaire? Ooh. Maybe we stick... We already did the whole getting rid of Yves thing the first round, which we succeeded in. So I think we go for what about the beast this run? We're gun for Yves. we already know the answer to Yves is gun. What do you know about the beast that haunts me in my dreams? An invisible entity. It covets the source to feed from it and continue its existence in our world. The Maltaires, they've been feeding it with the blood of the Delators in exchange for its help. Sophie, I thought it would stop with her. When she and Yves, but the Maltaire blood was stronger than their union. He performed the rites. She and Yves? What happened between Yves and my mother? He killed my granddaughter, as happened before and as will happen again. To me, to my mother, to my grandmother before her, to my daughter, to hers, to her children after her. Sophie, she knows. She wanted to hide the other child, to keep her safe. She left. She was the first to survive the curse, but she took me from them. Took her from me, and now there's no hope. Okay, so this is how we find out that we had a twin. Let me go. I've answered your question. Her gaze is a challenge. Exhaustion overwhelms me. Then, in a gust of flame, the spirit vanishes, leaving me alone in a forest which feels strangely dark and empty. The only evidence of what happened here is the scorched ground and the smell of sulfur, which dissipates in the freezing wind rushing through the trees. It's late, but I know that I don't talk to Mom right now. There's no way I'll be able to sleep. When I get to her bedroom door, a ray of light escapes from the gap beneath it, despite the lateness of the hour. I'm raising my hand to knock gently when Mom says, "Enter." I suppose the sound of my walking stick on the floorboards warned her of my presence. When I open the door and go in, I find Mom reading a novel by the light of her bedside lamp. Also, Mom, don't forget, do not light the fireplace. Do not do it. Daphne? Mom, we have to talk. I'm sure it can wait until tomorrow, can't it? I think it's waited long enough already. What's so urgent? I just talked with grandmother. You just talk? No, don't explain. I'm sure I'm not sure I want to know the details. What happened between you and Yves Maltaire? There's an awkward silence. Mom lays the book on her lap and takes a deep breath. I knew this business would resurface sooner or later. And it didn't occur to you that, I don't know, you might let me know first? I would have preferred that you hear it from you. It would have saved me the trouble of using necromancy to fill out the blanks. I'm sorry, Daphne. When I arrived at the castle, there was so much to tell you. I figured it could wait. There was so hurry. Then you had your accident, and the weeks passed. There were holidays, and you started to spend most of your time in the tower. It was never the right moment. But I swear, this time, I'll tell you everything. Let's start from the beginning. Were you romantically involved? We asked if he's my father before, and she was like, fuck no. Were you romantically involved with him? Might be the better answer. Were you romantically involved with Yves? Yes, we had a fling. It ended more than a year before you were born. It didn't last very long. More than a year is more than being pregnant. So I think we're safe. He was different back then, you must realize. He wasn't the man he's become. We both want to be free from the prison of our families. Your grandmother, Adelaide, had a hard time accepting it at first, but she realized quickly that the alliance... Yeah, okay, we learned about this already. It was scandalous, mixing the blood. The Maltaire heir getting mixed up with the Delaware, yeah. Effort, ingenuity, breaking us up, succeeded. Yves broke my heart, and all the plans went down the drain. Yep, what happened next is she hoed around. Wanted to hurt him, so I slept around. I wanted to get a reaction, but he didn't react. I was 18. We already know we're safe. She hoed up after the breakup. Listen, I don't know. This is a different timeline, technically. No, I've never been sure who your father is. It doesn't really matter. Yep, okay. This is fine. Our entire family is full of hoes. It's fine. Mom hesitates to talk. Mom, I have to know. I feel like there's something huge that you're not telling me about my birth. I can't go any longer. Do you understand? Looks at me distraught. I realize we're dredging something up, something she tried to forget. It wasn't the pregnancy that made me leave. It was the death of the baby. Dun 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 dun. Alright, we knew about this too. That I was actually a twin, and we lost the older brother. Yep. I tell her I need to go to the bathroom, but in truth, I find a moment in the living room. I need a cigarette. A twin sister. How could she hide it from me from all those years? The fact that she lost her, it changes everything. When I returned to her bedroom, Mom was at the window, smoking a cigarette herself. How can you hide losing a baby? It's kind of, not to be like it's kind of easy, but like, you know, you just don't talk about it. Oh, don't look at me like that. When you had your accident, you were talking in your sleep. It wasn't hard to put pieces together. It's our curse for over a century since the Maltaires offered our children in sacrifice. Do you think Eves might have sacrificed my baby? Ray Rhea. What up, other Ray? Did you sacrifice my baby? Do you think Eves might have sacrificed my baby? It's the only explanation. Each generation of Maltaires offers the firstborn of the Delators. Dum bum bum bum. The piano's kicking in again. It's so loud in my ears right now. Yes, I needed the baby blood for the ritual. See, you're just the other Ray is a Maltaire. We knew this all along. Generation after generation, the week in our bloodline, grandmother was sure that because you survived and were in fact the firstborn, you'd be the one to break the cycle. That's why I left. I didn't want her to have to stay. Blah 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 blah. We knew this already. We both looked at each other. We realized my womb is destroyed. We'll never be another child. Don't say anything, Daphne. I understand. We're both silent. What else is there to say? What Mom's just told me confirms what I suspected, although I hadn't admitted it to myself. Yves, he would be responsible for the death of my sister, perhaps for the death of my child, maybe even for... I'm engulfed by a wave of anger and indignation. I know I've been too passive. I know, I have to act. This time, I'm furious. Between the Maltaires who've been manipulating me and take me for an idiot, and Mom keeping stuff from me, I feel like I'm between the hammer and the anvil. It has to stop. I could confront Yves immediately. I've waited long enough. If he's able to destroy a life with a snap of his fingers like that, someone has to stop him. Perhaps charging right in isn't such a good idea? I get to kill my sister and sacrifice a child? What happened to lurking? I think of Celine. I know she and Yves are close, at least at work. She must have had some information about Yves' planning. I know we've had a falling out, but I hope I'll be able to persuade her to help me. I could ask Stan for his advice. He'll help me see things more clearly. Alright, so last time we went straight to talking to Yves, which did not work out at all. Celine still probably hates us, but we can go to Stan now because we've slept with him. And we've convinced him to live with us. So going to him is just going down the hall, right? When I get out of our bedroom, Stan is getting ready for bed. Daphne, you're upset. What's wrong? I tell him everything. My sister, the child I lost. We talk about his father, his family. So, what do you think? I don't think Celine knows anything. Yves has always done his best to keep her in the dark. But I agree with you. We have to do something. Yves wouldn't expect you to come knocking at his door in the middle of the night. He's already dressed and is taking his keys and his money clip from the top of the chest. Boy is loaded. Shall I get the car? Oh, do we talk to Celine? Do we talk to Celine or do we go? Well, at least have Stan on our side this time. He said Celine won't know anything. Full send it? We're going. We're full sending. We're going. I just like looking at you stare. Okay, let's do this. Always pick the shitty choice. That's my motto. We get in the car, and shortly after I'm knocking on the door in the private wing of the town hall, I see the light flickering through the frosted glass. The door is thrown wide open. Eves, dressed in his bathrobe, stands smirking. Ah, Miss Delator, what a surprise. I confess I hardly recognized you. Have you changed your something since the last time we saw each other? Always pick the shitty choice. That's my motto. Never mind, never mind. What brings you here so late? If you've come to give me back my son back, I apologize, but adoptions are irreversible. No, it's not that, is it? I have not tasted raffle myself. Let me guess. You've reconsidered my offer. But I knew you were a clever young woman. My wife, Clothilde, well, I can't conceal she's not very fond of you, but she could testify. I always said you'd see the light in my end. So? You killed my sister. You killed my child. Lissy woke up and chose violence, I see. Alright, it's German time. Let's see. German. Okay, here we go. This is the personal care and health section. Medical conditions. I don't know if we have any Germans in the chat at this point. Hopefully they're all asleep. But Altern werden nervt. Altern werden nervt. Altern werden nervt. For those who would like to know what the hell I just said, Altern werden nerfed. Yep, exactly. So good, Lissy. What I just said is German for aging sucks, which again is a phrase in this book. Aging sucks. Altern werden nerf. Alright. Anyway, aging sucks. You killed my child. You killed my child! Look, I have my faults, and I accept them. If you blame me for your sister's death, your twin, I suppose? He scrutinizes my reaction, waiting for a confirmation. I stay silent, so he continues. Your twin sister, then. So yes, I confess. Mea culpa, caught red-handed. Mwah! Good night, Lissy. Bedtime, bedtime. But how could I be responsible for the death of your child? I didn't even know you existed until a few months ago. Really? You're lying. Really? Really? I must admit it. To the sacrifice of your sister. Why would I deny the rest? I assure you, I took no pleasure in it. I only did my duty. How can you justify such acts? It's simple. Family. Ooh. I don't know which one of these would be the correcter answer. I feel like getting worked up means he stops talking to us. Family? Okay, I chose correctish. Yes. family. Like you, Daphne, I didn't ask for any of this. Do you really believe I had any say? I was born into this. I was raised into this tradition. I even tried to run away, several times, with Sophie. She must have told you, hasn't she? We had an escape plan. We wanted to live in the city, but my father never accepted it. That's why it's called an escape plan. You don't need your father's acceptance if you are escaping. The day we meant to leave, he locked me in the basement. He threatened to kill her. What was I supposed to do? Escape. I bowed to pressure. I bided my time. And it let me see the truth. As soon as we broke up, your mother, she finally showed her true colors. She started flirting with all the boys of the village. She was such a harlot. Oh, of course I suffered a bit at the beginning, but in the end my eyes were opened. Running away with her, it would have been a big mistake. I've been wrong about her all along. Then she got pregnant. It drove me out of my mind. I was crazy with rage. When the beast came to demand its tribute, when I had to perform the rites, I didn't hesitate for a second. But that's all in the past. You and I, we can still go forward together. What do you say? I hear a noise in the hallway behind Yves. A moment later, Clotilde Malter appears next to her husband. What are you doing here? Yves, would you throw her out, please? Clotilde, really? Good heaven, God's manners, please. Miss Delatour came to speak with me. You're wasting your time, Yves. You know nothing good will come of this. I'm gonna ignore her. Let's say I agree to collaborate. What's your offer? Give me the keys to the tower and leave the village. I did say we were going to side with the Maltese today. Be reasonable. Yeah, Yves, you know very well I cannot do that. Why do you want to get into the tower so much? He looks at me distrustfully. And stop jerking me around. I want the truth this time. Yves and Clotilde Malter exchange glances. It looks as though he's weighing up the pros and cons. After a minute that feels like an eternity, he turns back to me and smiles. Perhaps I've misjudged you. Our family is tied to an invisible entity which demands that we perform sacrifices. All because one of our ancestors thought it was a good idea to pledge his descendants to this obligation in exchange for some advantages. All we want is to get rid of ourselves of this entity. We too are the victims of decisions that were taken long before we were born, in which we had no say. We too just want one thing, peace between our families. Yes, I'm sure there must be a way to put an end to this conflict once and for all. But why do you need access to the tower to break this contract with this entity? I need to search the library. If there's a way to break the pact, it must be archived in the tower somewhere. And I need access to the source to find the strength I need to perform the ritual. What happens if you refuse to give the beast its tribute? Oh, don't you know? No, nobody's told me anything about this. I'm a little too honest right now. It's your children, or ours. If we don't deliver the firstborn of your family, the entity has the right to take the heir of the Malters. And I assure you that I would stop at nothing so that my grandson, Pierre Yves, doesn't have to bear the burden of this curse when his time comes. So what do you say? Are you ready to join forces against the beast? I take a minute to think it through. If I agree, If I forgive all the horrors they've made me go through since I arrived, I could at least enjoy a peaceful life in the village. If I refuse, who knows what might happen? I may have a last shot at revenge, but is it a risk I'm willing to take? What should I do? Let's... Rainbow. We got him killed last time. We got to agree with him this time. I agree with your terms. You'll have access to the resources of the Delators and my help as far as possible until this threat is gone. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just laughing at the wave. In return, you must promise we'll coexist peacefully in this village until the day I die. What do you think, Clothilde? I think it's acceptable. Very well. In that case, we have a deal. We shake hands. Go home, Daphne, and get some rest. We have work to do. I find Eves on the doorstep early the next day. We lock ourselves up in the tower and begin methodically, I can't read right now, to search the library. It's only after several long days of research bent over manuscripts and scrolls, the solution finally appeared to us. It was Eves who discovered it, slipped between the pages of a demonology codex from the Middle Ages, a handwritten note from his ancestor, Gustave Malter, the originator of the pact. It explained the method he used to bond this entity to the Malter family and my own. We decided to devise an inverted ritual that would allow us to banish the entity. This is that scene that we saw at the end of the first ending, where we were like, how the hell did we get the two of them together? We did it! I traced a magic circle on the floor of the tower, with Eve set its light to the branch of sage. The shadows take possession of the room. We wait anxiously for the entity to show itself. After several minutes, a horned shadow begins to materialize, little by little, at the center of the invocation circle. I glance at Eves. I can see the fear in his face as if in a mirror. The shadows start to speak, but no words emerge to break the frozen silence of the tower. I prefer gun ending. I feel the strength of its will come upon me. A quick succession of imagery is strange and marvelous flicker through my mind, and I understand that the entity, desperate, is offering me a pact. Yeast takes hold of my arm and shakes me briskly. Daphne, I've seen what it has shown you. You mustn't falter, not now. He's terrified. Or is it anger? Does he fear that I'll accept the pact and he'll lose all his power? Ooh. Ooh. Last minute betrayal? Ooh. Can we quick save? No. Not an option. Which do we do? Do we betray or do we stick with the pact? If we betray, the Malters all probably die, right? If we stick with the pact, we will all live, and theoretically, it's a happy ending for everybody. We did want to go the magic route, which would be siding with the demon, but we also wanted to go the holistic route of being good. Well, I guess we're kind of already doing the magic route by being good too. So maybe we're doing okay in both ends. That's what sacrifice I'm willing to make. Somebody else's sacrifice. Oh no. I think we're gonna stick it. We're gonna get it together. We're getting it together. We're gonna stick with the Maltaires. We said we were gonna side with the Maltaires this route. We're gonna side with the Maltaires. We can't betray them again just yet. Yeah, it would have been the other way. Since Eve's will joining mine, and I pronounce with difficulty the words of power. Slowly the light filters back in through the arrow slits of the tower. Then suddenly we're alone, the burning sage branch guttering in the ritual window. It's done, Daphne. He looks exhausted, but a kind of relief seems to emanate from him, as if he was relaxing for the first time in years. I desperately need a run where we do a wet blanket run and then betray. Oh, what an ad. Ooh. Bro, my throat. Even skipping things, we're already 3 hours in. like, I'm not even reading all the dialogue at this point. now I am, because this is a new ending, but like, I skipped so much of the other text beforehand, kind of thing, because we already saw it. This is a long gameplay game. It is a visual novel, so it makes sense, I guess. And the piano got so loud again in my ears. I'm pretty sure the volume is like... Yeah, the volume's literally been halved. And it's still this loud. Ugh. Bum bum. I do like it for the most part, but I don't like our love interest. We'll see what happens with this route. I do think they really want you to go for the Frank route, or they don't want you to do the wishy-washy thing that I just did with this one, where I slept with both of them. They want you to commit early on, I think. But back to it, ads are over. I suppose you now understand what I've been up against my whole life. I'm silent. I've never seen anything like it, and I hope I'll never have to experience it again. A shiver runs down my spine, thinking about how my life would have been if it had been me under the influence of such an entity. Yves takes out a cigarette and offers. Everyone's smoking here. We smoke in silence. I'm the only one smoking hot, though. Then he gets up, nods at me, and leaves without another word. Epilogue. Sprung. Sophie's still alive in this ending. Good for Sophie. She lived to the end, unlike last time. I just got my flight confirmation. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. So, will you survive without me? Mom and I are in the garden, enjoying the first of the sunshine with a coffee. A couple months ago, this question, instead of being rhetorical, would have been a tricky one. Not anymore. Since Yves went inside the tower, the Maltaires have been very quiet. I don't know what the future holds, but something tells me that the storm is finally behind me. Daphne? Oh, sorry, Mom. Yes, sure. Don't worry. I think I'll manage without you. That's when I see a bulky figure coming up the path. Oh? It's Yves Maltaire, who, seeing us in the garden, strides towards us. It's not his wife this time. When he reaches us, he lets out a terse, Sophie. He and Mom look at each other for several seconds. That seems suspended in time. I realize his eyes are fixated only on her, to the point I'm feeling pretty invisible. Finally, my mother breaks the silence. Yves. I decide to intervene just to get past the awkwardness of the encounter. Hello, Yves. What brings you here? Oh, sorry. Hello, Daphne. I have some things to attend to, if you don't mind. Yes, of course, Mom. Don't worry. Before I finish speaking, my mother has whisked herself away inside the house. Yves lets himself drop into the chair she's just vacated. Excuse my intrusion, Daphne. I simply came to thank you. Thank me? Yes, it's the least I could do. I realized I hadn't really, or not enough, communicated my gratitude after all that happened at the tower. I mean, you gave me a cigarette. We practically kissed at that point, man? He stares blankly for a while, then suddenly speaks again. Let me tell you something, Daphne. I didn't want to believe in all of this. All I wanted was to lead a normal life, to get away from here. But when my father made me perform the ritual, made me sacrifice Sophie's child, the woman I loved more than anything and who had betrayed me, I saw the shadows on the wall, then Sophie disappearing from the village. They were proof all of it was true. I knew that the life I had dreamed of was gone. I did everything that was asked of me. I lied. I manipulated. But it was the good of my family, for my children. I know. Oh, I've been a bad father. I've let my wife spoil my son. I couldn't let my daughter go. But I've always hoped that this curse that burdens my family would end with me. I did all I could to protect my children. Sophie was gone. There was no more heiress. So when you came back to the village, I was out of my mind. Everything was about to start up again. My children, my grandchildren, they would have to perform the sacrifice I wanted above all to keep them from doing. I was angry at you. I was angry at you for existing. If I had ever imagined you were in the solution, that you would be the one to help me end all this, I made it hard for you instead of coming to you. I hope you can forgive me. I forgive you. I want to say I accept your apology, but I forgive you. I forgive you. He extends his arm and puts it on my shoulder. I can feel gratitude radiating from all of his being. I don't. We stay like this for a while. Then Eve says, "Thank you, Daphne." He gets up. I won't keep you any longer. I'll let you enjoy this lovely day. He turns and walks away. I watch him until he disappears behind the trees. Since that day, my relationship with Yves and Clotilde has been distant but cordial. Time has passed. The days are longer. Little by little, the summer heat has arrived to warm the old stones. I'm pretty until the day I die and probably sometime after. The village hasn't changed much. The Maltaires continue to put bread on the table for most of the population of the sawmill. As promised, Yves has stopped plotting to get a hand of the castle. He's become quiet, taking less and less part in village life. I carried on putting the archives of the tower in order. The weird nightmares became less and less frequent until they stopped entirely. I still walk with the cane, though. I don't know what happened to the strange beast I'd seen in my dream. I banished it. Sometimes I even wonder if it really existed. I banished it. I started teaching myself of all the forms of magic I could get my hands on. I have to know more. I have to prove to myself that all this is true. I'm well aware I'm in a losing battle, that the magic will never allow me to formally confirm its existence. And I've begun to take a back seat for the daily life of the village. What's the point, anyway? People are scared of me, but at least they leave me in peace. For them, my home has become the castle of the witch again. Without the Maltaires to remind them of the weight of the tradition, I know all this would disappear. That I, myself, would disappear, to be forgotten. After all, it's the way of the world. I'm nothing more than the last of my bloodline, an endangered species. Stan is still with me. After a long argument, I managed to persuade him to get back in touch with his parents. He'd never admit it, but I'm sure he's glad they're close again. He's gone back to law school, and he's working with Celine, managing the family business. Of running a sawmill, I think. I'm not entirely sure what the family business means. We take things one day at a time, without any constraint or commitment, but the love we share. Could things have turned out differently? I wonder about that from time to time. Okay, this is the thing from before. What would have happened if I had chosen another partner to share my days? My troubles. My Franks. If I believed in magic more, or in the contrary, doubted, we did this ending. If I had given into anger to despair. Excuse me? Hang on, time out. What's going on here? What? Or perhaps to calm? To leniency? Would my life be different? Would I, myself, be different? I don't know. I've gone with the flow. I've done all I could. I've dangled all over the precipice for a long time, clinging to the comfort of my certainties, of my doubts, the void constantly calling to me. Is that the arranged marriage achievement from last time? I have no idea. I've let my feet guide me one after the other, along the edge. Ooh. Achievement unlocked. The Heart of Darkness. Okay, yeah, we wound up going more moon again. We got the 2 moon sides, though. We had the star moon this time. Achievement unlocked. Love at first sight. Achievement unlocked. Eviction notice. Achievement unlocked. Frozen. Achievement unlocked. The Devil's Advocate. Achievement unlocked. Sleepless. Achievement unlocked. Easygoing. Damn. Okay. Calling me out here. Easygoing and sleepless. Spend the night with Frank. Spend the night with Stan. Achievement unlocked. Up for good times. Spent the night with Frank and then Stan. Was that achievement? For up at good time. Achievement unlocked. Seeing dead people. Honor is... Oh no. Honors, we gotta stop meeting like this, you know? Welcome in, Raiders. We just ended the game. Have fun, you need a raid to run. Goodbye, Honors. Take fun. Have a good time. It's been nice seeing you. Anyway, welcome on everybody. We just finished playing Along the Edge for our second playthrough. So no spoilers, I guess, unless you just saw that achievement on screen. Speaking of achievements, we got majority of them unlocked now. I don't remember. So, okay, we did this the first round. We did this one now, the Heart of Darkness. So we really do need to lean towards the sun for the next couple playthroughs if we come back to this. We got Social Niceties, Sound in Mind, The Voice of Reason, Firefighting, Evil Stepmother, and BFF. Okay. And we also have Mending the Wound, which is just... We're going to get with Frank, probably. Big Happy Family, not sure what that's about. Arranged Wedding is another one. Sacrifice is another one. Forgiveness is another one. We got this one for killing all the Maltaires at the end. Hi, Corey. Welcome on in. Mwah. Eviction notice is the one that we just got. That was for banishing the demon. So I'm guessing sacrifice is siding with the demon. Probably. I don't know what forgiveness would have been a difference for, but it's all different pathings, all different things that could happen. I'm guessing a lot of it's all tied to each other in a way. So that's fun. Wiggy. Welcome in again. If you came with the raid from Honorous, thank you very much. Honorous, I'm sorry, we're raiding out. There's no greater sacrifice better than somebody else's. Exactly. But that is gonna do it for me tonight. Where are we going? I guess I can't raid Honorous now. She raided us. Bum 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 bum. How do people feel about comfy cozy gameplay after this? I think that's probably going to be the play, right? Quick reminder, everybody, if you don't already know, if you didn't read the title of, the stream, we have the Beach Hobo 2-year subathon anniversary is going to be coming up on May 16th. Make sure to mark that day in your calendar. We're going to be doing a subathon. Boom. There. Plugged. Done. At the end. You're welcome. Yeah, boy! Alright. And outside of that, is this... Hang on. I want to double check before I lie. Is this what I think it is? Okay. Alright. That's my favorite streamer. I love you too, Rainbow. Welcome on in. Alright. So, let's raid on out. Here's the raid messages. If you are a follower, you can take the first one. If you're a subscriber, you can take the second one. And we are going to be raiding on over to PokeProf. They are a Pokemon... I wouldn't really say... They have Pokemon, like, in their name, but they're more of a Stardew player. But right now they're playing Pokemon Pokopia, which is a nice, fun, cozy gameplay to watch and play along with. So go enjoy them, and as always, be kind and take care of yourselves. Next stream will be next Monday, unfortunately. I have some weekend plans that I cannot stream after kind of situation. So take care of yourselves, and goodbye, everybody. Much love. Bye.